As you close your eyes tonight, your mind won't simply rest. It will rebuild, rewire, and recreate the architecture of who you'll become. Beneath the silence of dreams, your subconscious runs like a hidden engine, replaying, rewriting, and reshaping the story of your life. What if you could harness that? What if sleep wasn't just escape, but the most powerful workshop for success? When the world grows quiet and your conscious mind finally surrenders to the pull of sleep, something extraordinary awakens within you. In the hushed sanctum of your sleeping brain, a transformation begins, one so profound and essential that it holds the power to reshape not just how you think, but who you become. Imagine your mind as a vast, hidden workshop that springs to life the moment your eyes close. While your body lies still in peaceful repose, this nocturnal laboratory hums with activity. Neural pathways light up like city streets at midnight. Memories flow like rivers, finding new channels, and the very architecture of your thoughts undergoes silent renovation. This is neuroplasticity in action, your brain's remarkable ability to rewire itself, forming new connections and strengthening existing ones throughout your lifetime. But here's what makes sleep so revolutionary. These processes reach their peak intensity during your hours of rest. While you dream, your mind becomes a master sculptor, carefully reshaping the neural networks that will guide tomorrow's thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. The discovery that our brains remain actively transformative throughout life overturned decades of scientific dogma. For years, researchers believed that neural development peaked in childhood and gradually declined thereafter. We now know this couldn't be further from the truth. Your sleeping brain is constantly evolving, adapting, and optimizing itself, and you can learn to direct this process. During sleep, your brain's glymphatic system activates with unprecedented vigor. This intricate network of channels, discovered only recently, functions as your mind's overnight cleaning crew. Cerebrospinal fluid washes through your neural tissue, flushing out metabolic waste while creating space for new connections to form. It's as if your brain performs a complete renovation every single night, clearing away the debris of outdated thought patterns while laying the foundation for new possibilities. The process unfolds in carefully orchestrated stages. As you transition through the lighter phases of sleep, your brain begins sorting the day's experiences, deciding which memories deserve permanent storage and which can be safely discarded. But it's during the deeper stages, particularly slow-wave sleep, where the real magic happens. In these profound depths, your brain waves synchronize into powerful, rhythmic patterns that facilitate the transfer of information from temporary storage areas to permanent archives. This isn't merely a filing system, it's a creative reconstruction process. Memories aren't just stored, they're transformed, connected to existing knowledge, and woven into the evolving tapestry of your identity. Research laboratories around the world have documented remarkable examples of this nocturnal creativity. Musicians discover new melodies in their dreams. Scientists solve complex problems that stump them during waking hours. Artists envision masterpieces that emerge fully formed from the depths of sleep. These aren't random accidents. They're natural expressions of your brain's extraordinary capacity for unconscious innovation. Perhaps most remarkably, this nightly neural renovation extends far beyond memory consolidation and creative insight. Your sleeping brain actively updates your internal programming, adjusting the mental models that guide your behavior and fine-tuning the beliefs that shape your perception of reality. Every night presents an opportunity to influence this process, to guide your unconscious mind toward patterns and beliefs that serve your highest potential. This is where the true power of sleep-based transformation reveals itself. While your conscious mind struggles against limiting beliefs during the day, your unconscious mind operates in a state of heightened receptivity during sleep. The critical filters that normally resist change relax their vigilance, creating unprecedented opportunities for positive programming to take root. The implications are staggering. Each night, as you surrender to sleep's embrace, you're not merely resting, you're entering a realm where the boundaries of your current reality become fluid and malleable. In this sacred space between consciousness and dreams, your mind becomes capable of reshaping the very foundations of your thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. Understanding this process transforms your relationship with sleep itself. When you recognize that sleep isn't passive downtime, but active transformation time, you begin to approach your evening hours with new reverence and intention. Bedtime becomes not an ending, but a beginning, the start of 8 hours of profound inner work that can reshape your life from the inside out. The night shift of your soul has been working tirelessly all along, waiting for you to recognize its power and learn to collaborate with its profound wisdom. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, remember that you're not simply closing your eyes, you're opening doorways to transformation that extend far beyond anything your waking mind could achieve alone. To harness the transformative power of sleep, we must first understand the fascinating landscape of consciousness itself, the different states of awareness that create windows of opportunity for profound change. Throughout your sleep cycle, your brain orchestrates a complex symphony of electrical activity, transitioning through distinct frequencies that each offer unique possibilities for positive transformation. As you drift from wakefulness into sleep's embrace, your brain waves slow from the rapid beta frequencies of active consciousness to the more relaxed alpha waves of quiet contemplation. This marks the beginning of a journey into progressively deeper states of awareness, each more receptive to suggestion than the last. It's in these altered states that the rigid defenses of rational thought begin to dissolve, creating pathways for new ideas to penetrate the fortress of established belief. The theta state represents one of the most powerful gateways for unconscious programming. When your brain waves cycle between 4 and 8 hertz, your mind exists in a state of profound receptivity, similar to that achieved by master meditators and subjects in deep hypnosis. During theta, the analytical mind that normally filters incoming information relaxes its guard, allowing suggestions to bypass resistance and embed themselves directly into unconscious awareness. Groundbreaking research at major universities has demonstrated that individuals in theta states show dramatically increased suggestibility compared to their waking counterparts. Studies reveal that positive affirmations and goal-oriented suggestions introduced during these phases show remarkable staying power, often manifesting as changed behaviors and thought patterns days or even weeks later. Even deeper lies the delta realm, where brain waves slow to between 0.5 hertz and 4 hertz. This is the domain of the deepest, most restorative sleep, where the profound work of neural reorganization takes place. While the mind in delta may seem completely disconnected from external input, emerging research suggests that carefully crafted suggestions can still penetrate this state, working at levels so deep they bypass even unconscious filters. The mechanism behind this remarkable receptivity lies in the very nature of sleep consciousness itself. During waking hours, your prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive center, maintains strict control over what information receives attention and acceptance. This cognitive oversight, while crucial for daily decision-making, can become a barrier to positive change when it automatically rejects new possibilities based on past limitations or logical inconsistencies. But as sleep deepens, prefrontal cortex activity diminishes significantly, particularly during REM and deep sleep phases. With the brain's critical filtering system operating at reduced capacity, suggestions can flow more freely into unconscious awareness, where they integrate with existing neural networks and begin creating new patterns of thought and behavior. This scientific understanding validates ancient practices that have recognized sleep's transformative potential for millennia. From the dream incubation temples of ancient Egypt to the healing sleep sanctuaries of Greece, cultures throughout history have understood that the sleeping mind possesses unique capabilities for transformation, healing, and wisdom gathering. Modern sleep learning studies have built upon this foundation with rigorous scientific methodology. Researchers have conducted fascinating experiments where participants learn new information while sleeping, achieving retention rates that rival and sometimes exceed conscious study sessions. These studies demonstrate that the sleeping brain doesn't simply shut down, it remains actively engaged in processing and integrating new information. Perhaps even more compelling are investigations focusing on behavioral and emotional transformation. Scientists have successfully used sleep-based conditioning to create lasting changes in emotional responses and behavioral patterns. Participants exposed to specific stimuli paired with positive or negative associations during sleep showed measurable changes in their waking reactions weeks later, proving that sleep-based programming can create genuine, lasting transformation. The implications for personal development are revolutionary. If specific inputs during sleep can create lasting changes in emotional and behavioral responses, then carefully crafted audio affirmations delivered at optimal sleep phases could theoretically rewrite limiting beliefs, enhance self-confidence, and program new success-oriented thought patterns. The key lies in understanding the precise timing and delivery methods that maximize effectiveness. Sleep-based suggestion works best when aligned with natural sleep cycles, delivered at volumes just above the threshold of conscious awareness, and crafted in language that speaks directly to the unconscious mind's preferred communication style. Cognitive science has identified several factors that enhance the effectiveness of sleep-based programming. Repetition creates neural pathways through consistent reinforcement, the same principle that allows musicians to perfect complex pieces through practice. Emotional resonance ensures suggestions connect with your deepest values and desires rather than remaining as superficial mental concepts. Present tense phrasing helps the unconscious mind accept new realities as current truth rather than distant possibilities. The marriage of ancient wisdom and modern neuroscience has opened unprecedented opportunities for conscious evolution. By understanding the science behind sleep's suggestive power, we can approach our nightly rest with intention and purpose, transforming passive sleep time into active development time. Your sleeping mind isn't just receptive to change, it's actively seeking the patterns and programs that will guide tomorrow's thoughts and actions. Each night offers a precious opportunity to collaborate with this natural process, to consciously participate in the profound work of personal transformation that happens in the depths of sleep. The laboratory of your sleeping mind is always open, always ready to receive new programming. The question isn't whether sleep-based transformation is possible. Science has already proven that beyond doubt. The question is whether you're ready to step into conscious partnership with the extraordinary power that awakens when your conscious mind finally rests. In our hyper-connected world of constant notifications, endless demands, and perpetual stimulation, the transition from day's chaos to night's transformative calm has become increasingly elusive. Yet this transition is absolutely crucial for effective unconscious reprogramming. Like a computer that cannot install critical updates while running intensive applications, your mind cannot undergo deep transformation while still processing the stress and overstimulation of modern life. Stress acts as a formidable barrier to the receptive states necessary for unconscious change. When your nervous system remains in a state of high alert, flooded with cortisol and adrenaline from the day's pressures, your brain maintains its defensive posture even during sleep. The prefrontal cortex, your mind's vigilant gatekeeper, refuses to lower its guard, effectively blocking the very suggestions that could transform your life. Understanding the physiology of stress and relaxation reveals why evening rituals aren't merely pleasant luxuries, but essential prerequisites for transformation. When you experience stress, your sympathetic nervous system activates the ancient fight or flight response, redirecting energy away from higher order cognitive functions toward immediate survival needs. This state, while useful in genuine emergencies, becomes profoundly counterproductive when it persists into your evening hours. The solution lies in consciously activating your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest response that signals safety and promotes healing. This biological shift from stress to serenity creates the optimal internal environment for unconscious receptivity. When your nervous system recognizes that you are safe and at peace, it naturally opens the channels through which positive suggestions can flow. Creating this shift requires intentional practices that gently guide your mind and body from the day's activated state into evening's restorative mode. This process begins long before your head touches the pillow, starting with the conscious decision to create boundaries between day and night, work and rest, stimulation and serenity. Begin your evening transition by establishing what sleep researchers call a digital sunset, a complete cessation of screen-based activity at least 1 hour before sleep. The blue light emitted by phones, tablets, and computers disrupts your natural circadian rhythms and keeps your mind in an alert, analytical state. More importantly, the constant stream of information continues to activate stress response systems well into the evening hours. Replace digital stimulation with activities that naturally slow your brain waves and activate your relaxation response. Gentle stretching releases physical tension while encouraging your mind to focus inward. Reading inspirational or philosophical material shifts your thoughts toward reflection and possibility. Journaling provides an outlet for the day's concerns while creating mental space for evening's intentions. The practice of conscious breathing serves as one of the most powerful tools for shifting from chaos to calm. Your breath provides a direct bridge to your autonomic nervous system, offering conscious control over unconscious processes. Deep, slow breathing patterns automatically activate the parasympathetic response, signaling to your entire system that it's safe to relax and receive. The 4-7-8 breathing technique proves particularly effective for evening transition. Inhale quietly through your nose for 4 counts, hold your breath for 7 counts, then exhale completely through your mouth for 8 counts. This pattern not only slows your heart rate and reduces cortisol levels, but also creates a meditative focus that naturally quiets mental chatter. As your breathing deepens and slows, your brain waves begin their descent toward the theta and delta states, most receptive to positive programming. Your physical environment plays an equally important role in facilitating this transition. Temperature, lighting, and sound all influence your nervous system's ability to shift into restorative mode. A cooler room temperature supports your body's natural circadian rhythms, while soft, warm lighting signals the approach of sleep. Consider incorporating calming scents like lavender or chamomile, which have been scientifically proven to reduce cortisol levels and promote relaxation. The transformation from chaos to calm isn't merely about removing stressors. It's about actively cultivating states of peace and receptivity. Progressive muscle relaxation, where you systematically tense and release different muscle groups, helps release physical tension while training your mind to recognize and create states of deep relaxation. This practice becomes particularly powerful when combined with positive affirmations, as the relaxed state increases your receptivity to empowering beliefs. Visualization exercises can further deepen your relaxed state while beginning the process of positive programming. Imagine yourself in a peaceful, safe environment, perhaps a serene beach where gentle waves whisper against the shore, a quiet forest where sunlight filters through ancient trees, or a cozy mountain cabin where a fire crackles warmly in the hearth. As you engage all your senses in this mental sanctuary, your nervous system responds as if you were actually in that peaceful place, naturally shifting into the receptive states necessary for transformation. The journey from chaos to calm isn't about achieving perfection, but about making progress. Each evening offers a new opportunity to practice these transitions, gradually training your nervous system to move more easily from activation to relaxation. Over time, these practices become automatic, creating a reliable pathway to the peaceful states that support profound, unconscious change. Remember that this evening calm isn't an end in itself, but a foundation for transformation. By creating these states of peaceful receptivity, you prepare your mind for the deeper work that happens during sleep. You're not just relaxing, you're creating optimal conditions for your unconscious mind to receive and integrate the positive programs that will reshape your tomorrow. Consider your evening routine as a sacred ritual of preparation, a deliberate act of self-care that honors both your need for rest and your potential for growth. Each calming breath, each moment of stillness, each conscious choice to step away from the day's demands represents an investment in your transformation. The transition from chaos to calm is ultimately a transition from unconscious reactivity to conscious choice, from being at the mercy of external circumstances to taking active control of your internal state. As you master this evening alchemy, you discover that peace isn't something you find, it's something you create, night after night, breath by breath, choice by conscious choice. Deep within the complex neural networks of your unconscious mind lies the most powerful force shaping your reality, your belief system. These beliefs function as invisible architects, unconsciously designing your thoughts, emotions, and actions in ways that consistently create experiences matching your deepest convictions about yourself and the world around you. To understand how sleep-based reprogramming can transform your life, you must first comprehend the remarkable architecture of belief formation and maintenance. Your beliefs aren't random thoughts or casual opinions. They're sophisticated neural structures encoded in your brain's circuitry through repetition, emotional intensity, and social reinforcement. These structures operate below the threshold of conscious awareness, yet they wield extraordinary influence over every aspect of your lived experience. Consider how beliefs crystallize in the developing mind. During childhood, when your brain exists predominantly in theta and delta states, you absorb information about yourself and the world with minimal critical filtering. Every repeated message, whether spoken directly or communicated through actions, environments, and emotional atmospheres, becomes encoded as fundamental truth. If you repeatedly absorbed messages that you were intelligent, capable, and destined for success, those empowering beliefs became part of your mental foundation. Conversely, if you internalize messages of limitation, unworthiness, or scarcity, those constraining beliefs also became permanently etched into your unconscious programming. These early formed beliefs create what psychologists call confirmation bias, the unconscious tendency to notice, interpret, and remember information in ways that confirm existing beliefs while filtering out contradictory evidence. Your brain literally constructs your perceived reality to match your deepest convictions, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy that reinforces the very beliefs that may be limiting your potential. The power of beliefs extends far beyond mere perception. They actively shape your physiology, behavior, and results. Placebo studies have demonstrated that believing in a treatment's effectiveness can trigger genuine physiological changes, from pain reduction to immune system enhancement. Your beliefs about your capabilities influence your willingness to take risks, persist through challenges, and recognize opportunities. They determine whether you approach new situations with confidence or trepidation, optimism or pessimism, curiosity or defensiveness. Perhaps most significantly, your beliefs about success and failure, worthiness and limitation, possibility and impossibility create the mental frameworks that either support or sabotage your conscious goals. You might consciously desire financial abundance while unconsciously believing that money corrupts good people or that you don't deserve wealth. You might long for meaningful relationships while harboring deep beliefs about being fundamentally unlovable or unworthy of genuine connection. These internal conflicts create the frustrating experience of working hard toward goals that somehow remain perpetually out of reach. Traditional approaches to changing limiting beliefs rely on conscious effort, positive thinking, willpower, and rational argument. While these methods can produce some results, they often fail to create lasting transformation because they attempt to override unconscious programming with conscious effort. It's like trying to change a computer's operating system by typing new commands on the keyboard while the old operating system continues running in the background, automatically undoing any attempted changes. Sleep-based reprogramming offers a fundamentally different approach, one that works with your brain's natural architecture rather than against it. During sleep, particularly in theta and delta states, your unconscious mind becomes extraordinarily receptive to new programming. The critical faculty that normally guards against belief change relaxes its vigilance, creating unprecedented windows of opportunity for installing empowering beliefs directly into your mental operating system. This process works because it bypasses the conscious resistance that normally prevents belief change. When you're asleep, your analytical mind cannot argue with, rationalize away, or resist new suggestions. Positive affirmations and empowering beliefs can flow directly into your unconscious awareness, where they begin forming new neural pathways and gradually overriding limiting programs. The key to effective sleep-based belief change lies in understanding how to craft suggestions that speak the unconscious mind's preferred language. Your unconscious responds most powerfully to statements phrased in the present tense as if the desired reality already exists, rather than "I will be successful." The more effective programming would be "I am naturally successful in all my endeavors." The unconscious mind accepts present tense statements as current reality and works tirelessly to align your experience with that accepted truth. Emotional resonance amplifies the effectiveness of sleep-based programming exponentially. Beliefs that connect with your deepest values, desires, and sense of identity create stronger neural pathways than purely intellectual concepts. This is why the most powerful affirmations often focus on fundamental aspects of self-worth, capability, and purpose, rather than specific external achievements. The language of transformation must also be carefully crafted to avoid triggering unconscious resistance. Instead of directly contradicting existing beliefs, effective programming often works by expanding possibilities gradually. If complete self-confidence feels too foreign to your current belief system, begin with affirmations like "I am becoming more confident each day," or "I easily find reasons to believe in myself." The architecture of belief isn't fixed. It can be renovated, expanded, and transformed. Every night offers an opportunity to install new supporting structures of empowering belief while gently dismantling the limiting frameworks that no longer serve your highest potential. Through consistent sleep-based reprogramming, you can literally rewire your mental blueprints for success, creating internal foundations that naturally support your conscious goals and aspirations. This transformation happens gradually but powerfully. As new empowering beliefs take root in your unconscious, you begin to notice subtle but significant changes in your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Opportunities that were previously invisible become apparent. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable feel manageable, self-doubt gives way to quiet confidence, and limitation transforms into possibility. The beauty of sleep-based belief transformation lies in its effortless nature. While your conscious mind rests, your unconscious mind engages in the profound work of reconstruction, building new neural architectures that will support a more empowered version of yourself. You're not just changing your thoughts, you're fundamentally altering the mental blueprints that create your reality. Each night, as you prepare for sleep, remember that you're not simply ending another day. You're entering a sacred space where the very foundations of your identity can be gently reshaped. Your beliefs have been building your reality unconsciously for years. Now, you can begin building them consciously, one peaceful night at a time. The transition from day to night offers one of life's most profound opportunities for conscious evolution, a daily chance to close the book on yesterday's limitations and set the stage for tomorrow's expanded possibilities. By developing intentional nightly reset rituals, you create a sacred bridge between conscious intention and unconscious programming, ensuring that your sleeping hours become active partners in your personal transformation. These rituals serve multiple powerful purposes. They signal to your nervous system that the day's work is complete. They activate the relaxation response necessary for receptive sleep states, and most importantly, they prime your unconscious mind with clear intentions and positive programming that will guide the night's transformative work. The foundation of any effective nightly ritual is the practice of conscious completion. Before you can program new realities, you must first acknowledge and release the day's experiences, both triumphant and challenging. This process of conscious closure prevents unresolved thoughts and emotions from creating mental static that could interfere with your unconscious receptivity. Begin your nightly reset with a simple but powerful reflection practice. Set aside 15 to 20 minutes to review your day with compassionate awareness. This isn't about judgment or analysis, it's about conscious acknowledgement and integration. Notice what you experienced, learned, and felt without trying to fix, change, or justify anything. Simply witness your day with the same gentle attention you might give to a trusted friend sharing their experiences. As part of this reflection, deliberately focus on growth moments, times when you responded differently than you might have in the past, overcame challenges, or recognized new possibilities. This positive focus helps reinforce empowering neural pathways while training your mind to notice progress and possibility rather than limitation and lack. Your brain literally strengthens whatever you consistently focus on, so ending each day by acknowledging growth creates powerful momentum for continued positive change. The practice of gratitude serves as a cornerstone of your nightly reset, literally rewiring your brain for abundance and appreciation. Neuroscience research has shown that gratitude practices increase the production of dopamine and serotonin while strengthening neural pathways associated with positive thinking and emotional resilience. When you consistently focus on appreciation before sleep, you program your unconscious to seek and create more experiences worthy of gratitude. Make your gratitude practice specific and emotionally engaging rather than general and intellectual. Instead of simply noting that you're grateful for your health, explore the specific moments when your body served you well, the activities that brought you joy, or the simple pleasure of breathing freely. Instead of generic appreciation for your family, recall the particular moments that touched your heart, the conversations that enriched your understanding, or the small gestures that demonstrated love. This emotional engagement creates stronger neural pathways and deeper unconscious programming. When you feel gratitude rather than simply think it, you create powerful associative memories that your unconscious mind seeks to recreate. Over time, this practice literally trains your brain to notice and attract experiences that generate authentic appreciation. Visualization emerges as perhaps the most powerful tool for priming your unconscious mind for positive transformation. During your pre-sleep visualization practice, you engage your imagination to create vivid, multisensory experiences of your desired reality. This mental rehearsal serves multiple functions. It activates the same neural pathways that would fire during actual experiences. It programs your unconscious mind with clear images of success and fulfillment, and it creates emotional states that support your goals and aspirations. Create visualization practices that engage all your senses and emotions with remarkable specificity. See yourself accomplishing your goals with vivid clarity. Notice the colors, lighting, textures, and intricate details of your success. Hear the sounds associated with your achievements, conversations filled with respect and admiration, the satisfying sounds of productive work, or simply the inner voice of confidence and satisfaction. Feel the physical sensations of success, the firm handshake of a respected colleague, the warmth of loving relationships, or the vibrant energy of optimal health. Most importantly, allow yourself to fully experience the emotions of already having achieved your desires, the deep satisfaction of meaningful work, the joy of loving relationships, the pride of personal accomplishment, and the gratitude that comes with living your ideal reality. These emotional experiences create the most powerful programming for your unconscious mind, which responds far more strongly to feelings than to mere thoughts or images. The practice of setting conscious intentions acts as a direct communication channel to your unconscious mind, clearly outlining the goals and qualities you want to develop during your sleep. These intentions should be specific, positive, and emotionally resonant. Rather than vague wishes for success, craft precise intentions such as, "I sleep deeply and awaken with renewed confidence in my abilities," or "My unconscious mind integrates new patterns of abundance and creativity throughout the night." Consider incorporating carefully chosen affirmations into your nightly routine, but select them thoughtfully to maximize their unconscious impact. Effective sleep programming affirmations are stated in the present tense, use positive rather than negative language, and feel believable rather than absurd to your current mindset. If "I am a millionaire" feels too disconnected from your current reality, begin with affirmations like, "I am open to increasing abundance," or "Prosperity flows to me in unexpected ways." The sequence and timing of your nightly rituals matter significantly for their effectiveness. Begin with activities that help you transition from the day's energy, perhaps gentle stretching to release physical tension, calming music to soothe your nervous system, or herbal tea to signal relaxation to your body. Move into reflection and completion practices to process the day's experiences. Follow with gratitude to shift your emotional state toward appreciation and abundance. Conclude with visualization and intention setting to prime your unconscious for the night's transformative work. Consistency amplifies the power of these practices exponentially. Your unconscious mind responds most strongly to repeated patterns and rituals. By performing your nightly reset with dedication and regularity, you create powerful associative patterns that automatically shift your nervous system into receptive states. Over time, simply beginning your ritual will trigger the relaxation response and prime your mind for transformation. The physical environment you create for these practices also influences their effectiveness. Dim lighting signals to your brain that it's time to begin producing melatonin. Comfortable temperature and minimal distractions help you focus inward. Some people benefit from soft background music, while others prefer complete silence. Trust your intuition and create an environment that feels sacred and supportive to you. As you develop and refine your personal nightly reset rituals, pay attention to which practices feel most natural and powerful for your unique temperament and lifestyle. Some people respond strongly to detailed visualization, others to journaling and reflection, and still others to meditation and breathwork. Honor your preferences while maintaining the core elements of completion, gratitude, and positive programming. Remember that these rituals aren't merely pleasant activities, but powerful technologies for conscious evolution. Each night, as you engage in these practices, you're taking active control of your mental programming, directing your unconscious mind toward the patterns and beliefs that will create your ideal reality. You're not just preparing for sleep, you're preparing for the profound transformation that happens when conscious intention meets unconscious receptivity in the sacred laboratory of the dreaming mind. The night awaits, rich with possibility and pregnant with potential. Your unconscious mind stands ready to receive whatever programming you consciously choose to provide. Through these simple but powerful rituals, you transform sleep from passive rest into active regeneration, from unconscious drifting into conscious evolution. Tonight and every night thereafter, you have the opportunity to literally sleep your way to success, one intention at a time. There exists a sacred threshold between the realm of ordinary consciousness and the vast, uncharted territories of the subconscious mind, a liminal space where transformation becomes not just possible, but inevitable. This threshold is marked not by physical landmarks, but by the subtle shifting of electrical frequencies within your brain, a mystical dance of neural oscillations that opens doorways to profound change. To understand how to consciously enter these gateways, we must first map the landscape of consciousness itself. Your waking mind operates primarily in beta frequencies, those rapid-fire brainwaves cycling between 13 and 40 hertz that characterize active, analytical thinking. In beta, your mind races through problems, makes decisions, and navigates the complex demands of daily life. This is the frequency of productivity and problem solving, but also of worry, stress, and resistance to change. As evening approaches and you begin to slow down, your brainwaves naturally descend into alpha frequencies, the peaceful 8 to 13 hertz range that characterizes relaxed awareness. In alpha, the chattering mind begins to quiet, the body releases tension, and you become more receptive to positive suggestions. This is the frequency of meditation, creative flow, and gentle learning. Alpha serves as the antechamber to deeper states, the first step in your journey toward the profound receptivity of sleep. But it is in theta, those mystical frequencies between 4 and 8 hertz, where the real magic of transformation begins. Theta is the brainwave state of deep meditation, profound creativity, and extraordinary receptivity. In theta, the barriers between conscious and subconscious dissolve like morning mist, allowing new programming to flow directly into the deeper layers of your psyche without resistance or filtration. When your brain operates in theta frequencies, something remarkable occurs. The prefrontal cortex, that vigilant guardian of logic and skepticism, relaxes its iron grip on incoming information. The critical faculty that normally questions, analyzes, and often rejects new ideas steps aside, creating an open channel for transformation. In this state, your subconscious mind becomes like fertile soil after a gentle rain, soft, receptive, and ready to nurture whatever seeds of change you choose to plant. Research conducted in sleep laboratories around the world has revealed that theta states occur naturally during the deepest stages of meditation, the moments just before sleep, and throughout certain phases of REM dreaming. But theta can also be consciously cultivated through specific practices that slow your brainwaves and open these gateways to change. The art of entering theta begins with understanding that this is not a state you can force or demand, but rather one you must gently invite and allow. Like coaxing a shy woodland creature into the open, theta requires patience, stillness, and a quality of surrender that runs counter to our achievement-oriented culture. Deep, rhythmic breathing serves as one of the most reliable pathways into theta consciousness. When you breathe slowly and deliberately, Extending your exhales longer than your inhales, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system and naturally slow your brain waves. The ancient practice of pranayama understood this connection thousands of years ago, using breath as a bridge between ordinary awareness and expanded consciousness. Progressive muscle relaxation offers another gateway into theta states. By systematically tensing and releasing each muscle group in your body, you create a cascade of relaxation that spreads from your physical form into your mental awareness. As physical tension dissolves, mental resistance follows, opening pathways for new programming to enter your subconscious mind. Guided imagery and visualization naturally induce theta states by engaging your imagination in ways that bypass analytical thinking. When you create vivid mental scenes, imagining yourself walking through a peaceful forest, floating on a calm lake, or ascending a mountain path, your brain responds as if these experiences were real, shifting into the receptive frequencies that characterize deep meditation and hypnotic states. Certain forms of music and sound can also entrain your brain waves into theta frequencies. Instrumental music with a tempo around 60 beats per minute, matching your resting heart rate, naturally slows your neural oscillations. Sounds of nature, such as ocean waves, rainfall, or wind through trees, create the kind of consistent, rhythmic patterns that encourage theta brainwave production. The practice of mindfulness meditation, when approached with gentle focus rather than intense concentration, naturally guides your awareness into theta states. By simply observing your thoughts without judgment, watching them arise and pass away like clouds in a vast sky, you create the inner stillness that allows theta frequencies to emerge. Perhaps most powerfully, the transition period between waking and sleeping, known as the hypnagogic state, represents a naturally occurring theta gateway that occurs twice daily. As you drift towards sleep, your brain waves slow from alpha into theta, creating a window of extraordinary receptivity that lasts for several precious minutes. This liminal time, when you're neither fully awake nor completely asleep, offers an ideal opportunity for positive programming and intention setting. Learning to recognize when you've entered theta requires developing sensitivity to the subtle shifts in your awareness. In theta, time seems to slow or disappear altogether. Your body feels heavy and deeply relaxed, yet your mind remains alert and receptive. Creative insights often arise spontaneously, and you may experience vivid mental imagery or profound insights. There's a quality of oceanic awareness, as if the boundaries of your individual consciousness have expanded to merge with something larger and more universal. The key to working with theta states lies in preparation and intention. Before entering these gateways, clarify what kind of programming or transformation you wish to cultivate. Have your affirmations, visualizations, or intentions clearly formulated. Because once you enter theta, analytical thinking gives way to direct experience and emotional imprinting. Regular practice strengthens your ability to access theta states at will. Like any skill, the capacity to shift consciousness improves with repetition and patience. What initially requires considerable effort and time eventually becomes as natural as breathing, creating a reliable pathway for accessing the profound receptivity that makes transformation possible. As you learn to consciously enter these gateways of theta, you discover that the boundary between your ordinary mind and your extraordinary potential is far thinner than you ever imagined. These frequencies don't just represent different brainwave patterns, they represent different dimensions of possibility, different levels of access to the vast creative intelligence that lies dormant within your sleeping consciousness. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, remember that you're not simply ending another day. You're approaching the sacred threshold where transformation becomes possible. The gateways of theta await your conscious entry, ready to escort you into the mysterious realms where change happens not through force or willpower, but through the gentle alchemy of receptive awareness, meeting focused intention. Deep within the hidden chambers of your sleeping mind, a different kind of language is spoken, one that transcends words, bypasses logic, and communicates directly through the primal channels of emotion, image, and felt experience. To become fluent in this ancient tongue is to unlock the very mechanism by which your deepest beliefs and behaviors are formed, maintained, and transformed. This is not the language of the boardroom or classroom, where facts are marshaled and arguments constructed through careful reasoning. The subconscious speaks in the older dialects of the human experience, the wordless knowing that precedes thought, the visceral responses that shape behavior before consciousness can intervene, the symbolic narratives that give meaning to our deepest experiences. Your subconscious mind is like a master storyteller who thinks exclusively in metaphor and feels primarily through emotion. It responds not to what makes logical sense, but to what feels true at the deepest level of your being. This is why you can consciously know that you deserve success while subconsciously believing you don't, because logic and emotion speak entirely different languages, and emotion almost always wins. Consider how a child learns to be afraid of the dark. No logical argument convinces them that shadows harbor monsters. Instead, a combination of vivid imagination, emotional intensity, and repeated exposure creates a belief so powerful that rational explanations become irrelevant. The subconscious has learned through its preferred channels of communication, sensory imagery coupled with strong emotion, repeated until the pattern becomes automatic. This same process operates throughout your life, though more subtly. Every experience that carries emotional charge, whether positive or negative, becomes raw material for subconscious programming. The promotion that fills you with pride and possibility, the rejection that triggers shame and self-doubt, the moment of recognition when someone truly sees your value, all of these emotionally charged experiences embed themselves into your subconscious awareness as fundamental truths about yourself and your place in the world. The subconscious mind operates on three primary principles that differ radically from conscious thinking. First, it processes information through association rather than analysis. Where your conscious mind categorizes and compartmentalizes, your subconscious weaves everything into interconnected webs of meaning. A single scent can instantly transport you to childhood, triggering the same emotions you felt decades ago because your subconscious has linked that fragrance to specific memories, feelings, and beliefs about yourself. Second, the subconscious responds to repetition rather than reason. You cannot argue your way into new beliefs any more than you can argue yourself into love. But repeat a message often enough, especially when coupled with emotion, and it becomes accepted as truth regardless of its logical validity. This is why affirmations work, not because they're logically convincing, but because repetition creates neural pathways that eventually become automated responses. Third, the subconscious lives exclusively in the present tense. It cannot distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual events, between past memories and present realities, between future possibilities and current facts. When you visualize success with sufficient detail and emotion, your subconscious accepts this visualization as current reality and begins reshaping your beliefs and behaviors to align with this perceived truth. Understanding these principles reveals why traditional approaches to change often fail. When you try to overcome limiting beliefs through positive thinking alone, you're essentially trying to convince your subconscious through conscious reasoning, like attempting to seduce someone by showing them a mathematical proof of your attractiveness. The languages are incompatible. Effective subconscious programming requires learning to communicate in the native tongues of emotion, imagery, and repetition. This means crafting messages that feel true rather than simply sound logical, that engage the senses rather than merely inform the intellect, that create emotional resonance rather than just cognitive agreement. The most powerful vehicle for subconscious communication is the story, not the dry recitation of facts, but the kind of narrative that engages imagination and emotion simultaneously. When you tell your subconscious the story of your success through vivid visualization, complete with sensory details and emotional experiences, you're speaking its language fluently. Consider the difference between telling yourself, "I am confident," and creating a detailed mental movie where you see yourself walking into an important meeting with perfect posture. Feel the calm strength flowing through your body. Hear the respectful attention in people's voices as you speak, and experience the deep satisfaction of knowing you belong in that room. The first is a thought. The second is a subconscious program. Emotion serves as the amplifier that determines how deeply any message penetrates your subconscious awareness. Information delivered with strong emotional charge, whether positive or negative, creates deeper impressions than neutral data. This is why traumatic experiences can reshape beliefs so quickly and permanently, but it also explains why peak positive experiences can be equally transformative. The art of subconscious programming lies in learning to generate positive emotional states while delivering empowering messages to your deeper mind. When you combine visualization with genuine feelings of gratitude, excitement, or love, you create the ideal conditions for positive programming to take root and flourish. Rhythm and timing also play crucial roles in subconscious communication. Your deeper mind responds to patterns, cycles, and repetition that mirror the natural rhythms of life. This is why lullabies soothe children to sleep, why drumming can induce trance states, and why affirmations are most effective when delivered in rhythmic, musical patterns rather than flat, monotone recitations. The symbolic language of dreams offers another window into how your subconscious communicates. Dreams don't present information logically or sequentially. They weave together symbols, emotions, and experiences in ways that bypass rational analysis and speak directly to your deeper knowing. Learning to think symbolically, to communicate through metaphor and imagery rather than literal description, enhances your ability to program positive changes at the subconscious level. Perhaps most importantly, the subconscious responds to authenticity rather than perfection. You cannot fool your deeper mind with surface-level positive thinking that doesn't align with your genuine feelings and values. But when your conscious intentions align with your authentic desires and deepest values, the subconscious becomes a powerful ally in creating the changes you truly want. As you develop fluency in the language of the subconscious, you begin to understand that transformation happens not through force or willpower, but through the gentle art of speaking to your deeper mind in its native tongue. You learn to communicate through feeling rather than thinking, through showing rather than telling, through experiencing rather than explaining. This ancient language, spoken in the twilight realms between waking and sleeping, holds the keys to the profound changes you seek. Tonight, as you prepare to enter the receptive states of sleep, remember that you're not just resting. You're entering a conversation with the deepest parts of yourself, using a language far older and more powerful than words. In the mystical theater of the dreaming mind, reality becomes fluid, logic dissolves into poetry, and the impossible dances hand in hand with the inevitable. Here, in these nightly journeys through landscapes of pure consciousness, your brain engages in its most sophisticated programming, writing and rewriting the code that will govern tomorrow's thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Dreams are not random neurostatic or meaningless mental debris, as scientists once believed. They are the subconscious mind's way of processing, integrating, and transforming information in ways that transcend the limitations of logical thought. In the dream state, your brain becomes a master programmer, combining disparate elements of experience into new patterns of understanding that often elude the waking mind. The very strangeness of dreams, their ability to merge impossible scenarios, compress time, and create entirely new realities, reflects the subconscious mind's fundamentally different approach to problem solving. Where conscious thought follows linear pathways and logical sequences, the dreaming mind makes quantum leaps across vast conceptual distances, connecting ideas and experiences that seem completely unrelated to rational analysis. REM sleep, when most vivid dreaming occurs, represents one of the brain's most metabolically active states. During these periods, neural activity actually exceeds that of waking consciousness, as if your mind is running multiple complex programs simultaneously. The prefrontal cortex, that ever-vigilant guardian of logic and social appropriateness, relaxes its control, allowing deeper brain regions to experiment with radical new combinations of thought and feeling. This neurological freedom creates the perfect conditions for breakthrough insights and creative solutions. When the analytical mind stops editing and censoring, the subconscious can explore possibilities that would never survive the harsh scrutiny of logical evaluation. It's in this space of unlimited possibility that many of humanity's greatest discoveries have been born. Thomas Edison understood this principle intuitively, developing a famous technique for harvesting insights from the threshold between waking and dreaming. He would nap in his chair while holding steel balls in his hands, positioned over metal plates. As he drifted toward sleep, his relaxing muscles would release the balls, and the resulting crash would wake him just enough to capture whatever images or ideas had emerged from the depths of his subconscious. Through this method, he claimed to access solutions that his waking mind could never have produced. Nikola Tesla took a different approach, using the theater of dreams to test his inventions before building them in the physical world. He would construct elaborate mental models in his imagination, set them running in his mind, and then return to them weeks later to check for wear and tear. His dream machines often revealed design flaws or suggested improvements that saved countless hours of physical experimentation. Salvador Dalí elevated this practice to an art form, literally painting the landscapes of the unconscious mind. He would enter the liminal state between waking and sleeping, what he called the slumber with a key, and capture the surreal imagery that emerged from his subconscious depths. His paintings weren't just artistic expressions, but documentation of the strange logic that governs the deeper layers of human consciousness. The Code of Dreams operates on principles that seem to violate everything we know about reality. Yet these violations often point toward deeper truths. In dreams, you can be simultaneously yourself and someone else, present in multiple locations at once, or experience events from perspectives that transcend the limitations of individual identity. These impossible experiences aren't errors in the system, they're features that reveal the fundamentally unlimited nature of consciousness itself. Dreams also serve as emotional processing laboratories, where your psyche experiments with different responses to life's challenges. You might dream of confronting someone who intimidates you in waking life, experiencing in the dream state the confidence and clarity that eludes you during the day. These dream rehearsals don't just process past experiences, they program future responses, creating neural pathways that can manifest as increased courage or confidence in similar real-world situations. The symbolic language of dreams speaks directly to the subconscious mind's preference for metaphor and association over literal description. A dream of flying might represent feelings of freedom or transcendence, while dreams of being chased could symbolize avoidance patterns or unresolved fears. Learning to interpret these symbols isn't about applying universal meanings. but about understanding your psyche's unique vocabulary for communicating complex emotional and psychological states. Modern neuroscience has revealed that dreams play a crucial role in memory consolidation and creative problem solving. During REM sleep, the brain actively transfers information from short-term to long-term memory, while simultaneously making new connections between previously unrelated concepts. This process of integration and connection making explains why solutions to complex problems often appear suddenly after a good night's sleep. The phenomenon of lucid dreaming, becoming conscious within the dream state while maintaining the dream itself, offers unprecedented opportunities for conscious programming of the subconscious mind. In lucid dreams, you can directly practice new behaviors, rehearse challenging situations, or explore creative possibilities without the limitations of physical reality. Some researchers believe that lucid dreaming represents the ultimate fusion of conscious intention and subconscious receptivity. Dreams also reveal the subconscious mind's natural tendency toward healing and integration. Recurring dreams often represent unresolved psychological patterns that seek resolution, while transformative dreams can mark significant shifts in beliefs or emotional patterns. The dream state provides a safe space for the psyche to experiment with new ways of being without the risks and limitations of waking reality. To work consciously with your dreams as tools for transformation, begin by treating them with the respect and attention they deserve. Keep a dream journal beside your bed and record whatever fragments you remember immediately upon waking, before the rational mind can edit or dismiss them. Look for patterns, symbols, and themes that repeat across multiple dreams, as these often represent important messages from your deeper consciousness. Before sleep, you can also program your dreams by setting clear intentions for what you want to explore, understand, or resolve. Ask your subconscious specific questions or request guidance on particular challenges. Then trust that your dreaming mind will respond in its own symbolic language. The answers may not come in the form you expect, but they will often arrive with a depth and creativity that surpasses conscious analysis. Dreams remind us that consciousness is far more vast and mysterious than our waking experience suggests. In these nightly journeys through inner space, we glimpse the unlimited creative potential that lies dormant within every human mind. The code written in dreams doesn't just process the past, it programs the future, creating new possibilities that begin as fantasy and gradually solidify into reality. Tonight, as you prepare to enter the dreaming state, remember that you're not simply losing consciousness. You're entering a realm where consciousness expands beyond its normal boundaries. In this space of infinite possibility, your mind will write tomorrow's code using the strange and wonderful logic of dreams. Trust the process, honor the journey, and prepare to discover solutions and insights that your waking mind could never imagine. In the vast silence of the sleeping mind, sound becomes a carrier of consciousness itself, a bridge between the physical vibrations of the external world and the ethereal frequencies of inner transformation. Here, in the receptive depths of slumber, carefully crafted sounds can slip past the guardians of skepticism and plant themselves directly into the fertile soil of subconscious awareness. Sound is perhaps the most ancient form of programming known to humanity. From the rhythmic chanting of tribal shamans to the melodic lullabies that soothe infants to sleep, cultures throughout history have understood that specific frequencies and patterns can induce profound states of consciousness and facilitate deep psychological change. Modern science has now revealed the mechanisms behind this ancient wisdom, opening new frontiers in the art of sleep-based transformation. When you sleep, your conscious mind retreats, but your auditory system remains remarkably active, continuing to process sounds and transmit information to deeper brain structures. This creates a unique window of opportunity, a time when positive programming can be delivered directly to the subconscious without triggering the resistance mechanisms that typically guard against change during waking hours. The science of frequency entrainment reveals how specific sound patterns can literally tune your brain waves to desired states of consciousness. When you expose your brain to rhythmic auditory stimuli, your neural oscillations naturally synchronize with the external rhythm through a process called the frequency following response. This biological phenomenon allows carefully designed audio programs to guide your brain into theta and delta states, those profound depths where transformation becomes possible. Binaural beats represent one of the most sophisticated applications of this principle by playing slightly different frequencies in each ear, perhaps 200 Hz in the left ear and 204 Hz in the right. Your brain perceives a phantom beat at the difference frequency of 4 Hz. This phantom rhythm occurs only within your mind, creating a powerful entrainment effect that can guide your brainwaves into specific states of consciousness without any external rhythm that might disturb your sleep. Research conducted in neuropsychology laboratories has demonstrated that theta frequency binaural beats, 4 to 8 Hz, can reliably induce the deep receptive states that characterize profound meditation and heightened suggestibility. When these frequencies are embedded beneath sleep-friendly soundscapes, gentle rainfall, ocean waves, or soft, instrumental music, they create an invisible carrier wave that transports your consciousness into realms of extraordinary receptivity. The human voice, when used skillfully, becomes an even more powerful vehicle for subconscious programming. Unlike the mechanical precision of electronic tones, the voice carries emotional resonance, intentionality, and the subtle frequencies of human consciousness itself. When affirmations and positive suggestions are delivered in the warm, nurturing tones of a skilled practitioner, they bypass analytical resistance and speak directly to the emotional centers of the brain. The optimal characteristics for sleep programming audio have been refined through decades of research and experimentation. Volume levels must be precisely calibrated, loud enough to register in the subconscious, but quiet enough to avoid disturbing sleep cycles. The ideal range typically falls just above the threshold of conscious awareness, where information can penetrate without triggering awakening responses. Timing becomes equally crucial in the alchemy of sound-based transformation. The most receptive periods occur during the transitions between sleep stages, particularly as you drift from alpha into theta frequencies during the initial descent into sleep and during the lighter REM periods when dreams unfold. Sophisticated sleep programming systems can monitor brain activity through EEG sensors and deliver targeted audio precisely when your mind reaches optimal receptivity. The language patterns used in sleep programming follow specific principles that maximize subconscious acceptance. Present tense affirmations create immediate reality rather than distant promises. Positive phrasing focuses on desired outcomes rather than problems to be solved. Personal pronouns establish direct relevance and ownership. Repetition creates neural pathways through consistent reinforcement of empowering beliefs. Consider the difference between "you will overcome your fears" and "I am naturally confident and courageous in all situations." The first implies future possibility. The second declares present reality. The first addresses you from the outside. The second speaks from your own inner voice. The first suggests struggle. The second assumes success. These subtle linguistic distinctions profoundly influence how deeply suggestions penetrate subconscious awareness. Musical elements can amplify the effectiveness of verbal programming exponentially. Harmonic frequencies that resonate with the human heart rate and breathing patterns create physiological relaxation that enhances receptivity. Gentle melodies can mask the repetitive nature of affirmations, while carrying emotional undertones that support the intended programming. The ancient Greeks understood this principle, using specific musical modes to induce particular emotional and psychological states. Natural sounds offer another powerful avenue for sleep-based programming. The rhythmic consistency of ocean waves naturally entrains brainwaves into peaceful patterns, while the complex frequency spectrum of rainfall creates an acoustic environment that both masks external disturbances and generates profound relaxation. When positive suggestions are embedded within these natural soundscapes, they arrive in your subconscious, wrapped in the nurturing embrace of nature itself. The phenomenon of subliminal programming, delivering messages below the threshold of conscious awareness, remains controversial but scientifically intriguing. Studies suggest that information processed below conscious awareness can still influence behavior and emotional states, though the effects are typically subtle and require careful research methodology to document. More important than subliminal volume levels is the creation of acoustic environments that promote the natural receptivity of sleep states. Personal resonance plays a crucial role in the effectiveness of any sound-based programming. Different individuals respond to different voices, musical styles, and acoustic environments based on their unique psychological and physiological characteristics. Some people find deep relaxation in the sound of rain, while others prefer the rhythmic consistency of ocean waves. Some respond to male voices, others to female speakers. Honoring these individual preferences enhances the effectiveness of any audio program. The integration of multiple acoustic elements creates synergistic effects that exceed the power of any single component. A program might combine theta frequency, binaural beats to induce receptive brainwave states, nature sounds to create relaxation and mask repetition, gentle music to carry emotional resonance, and carefully crafted affirmations to deliver specific programming, all precisely timed to match the natural rhythms of sleep architecture. As you explore the realm of sound-based transformation, remember that you're working with forces that touch the very foundations of consciousness itself. Sound waves don't just vibrate through the air, they resonate through every cell of your body, every neural pathway in your brain, every fiber of your being. When harnessed with wisdom and intention, these vibrations become vehicles for the profound changes you seek. Tonight, as silence settles around you and your conscious mind prepares for rest, know that sound itself can become your ally in transformation, whether through the gentle rhythm of your own breathing, the whispered affirmations you speak to yourself, or the carefully crafted audio programs that accompany your sleep. You have access to acoustic technologies that can literally reprogram your reality while you dream. In the sacred theater of the sleeping mind, the most extraordinary performances unfold nightly, not mere entertainment, but profound rehearsals for the reality you're destined to create. Here, in the limitless stage of consciousness, you can practice being the person you're becoming, experiencing success before it manifests, and programming your neural pathways for achievements that your waking mind can barely imagine. This is the art of mental rehearsal elevated to its highest form, not simple visualization, but complete immersion in alternate realities where your deepest aspirations have already been fulfilled. In the receptive depths of pre-sleep consciousness, these mental rehearsals become more than imagination. They become imprints on the very fabric of your subconscious mind, blueprints that your psyche will work tirelessly to manifest in physical reality. The power of mental rehearsal lies in a remarkable quirk of human neurology. Your brain cannot distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual events when both are sufficiently detailed and emotionally engaged. When you mentally rehearse success with complete sensory immersion, your neural pathways fire in precisely the same patterns they would during actual achievement. These repeated neural activations strengthen the connections associated with success, confidence, and peak performance. Athletes have long understood this principle, using mental rehearsal as a standard component of elite training. Olympic skiers mentally navigate their courses hundreds of times before competition, visualizing every turn, feeling the snow beneath their skis, experiencing the exhilaration of perfect runs. Their brains develop the same neural patterns through visualization as through physical practice, creating muscle memory and confidence that translate directly into competitive advantage. Jack Nicklaus, perhaps golf's greatest champion, attributed much of his success to mental rehearsal. Before every shot, he would create a complete mental movie, seeing the ball's flight path, feeling the perfect swing, experiencing the satisfaction of the ball landing exactly where intended. This wasn't mere positive thinking, but comprehensive neural programming that prepared his body and mind for flawless execution. The Russian Olympic teams pioneered systematic mental training programs that produced remarkable results. Their athletes spent as much time in mental rehearsal as in physical practice, using detailed visualization protocols that engage all senses and emotions. The results spoke for themselves: unprecedented medal counts and performances that redefined the boundaries of human potential. Musical virtuosos employ similar techniques, mentally practicing complex compositions note by note, feeling their fingers on the keys or strings, hearing the perfect execution of challenging passages. Vladimir Horowitz, the legendary pianist, could learn entire concertos through mental practice alone, arriving at the keyboard already fluent in pieces he had never physically played. The principle extends far beyond athletics and performance arts into every domain of human achievement. Surgeons mentally rehearse complex operations, experiencing each movement and decision before entering the operating room. Business leaders visualize successful presentations, negotiations, and strategic initiatives, programming their subconscious minds for confident execution when opportunities arise. The key to effective mental rehearsal lies in understanding that your subconscious mind responds most powerfully to experiences that feel completely real and emotionally compelling. This requires engaging all your senses in rich, detailed scenarios that transport your consciousness into alternate realities where your goals have already been achieved. Begin with visual clarity, so vivid that you can count the details in your imagined environment. See yourself in the exact setting where your success unfolds. Notice the lighting, colors, textures, and spatial relationships with photographic precision. Your mind's eye becomes a high-definition camera, capturing every element of your triumphant scenario. Layer in auditory experiences that complete the sensory landscape. Hear the sounds associated with your success, conversations filled with respect and admiration, the applause of recognition, the quiet satisfaction of your own inner voice acknowledging achievement. These acoustic elements add dimensional reality to your mental rehearsals, making them feel authentic rather than fabricated. Engage your kinesthetic senses through detailed physical experiences within your visualizations. Feel the handshake of congratulation, the weight of an award in your hands, the confident posture of your body as you embody success. Your nervous system responds to these imagined sensations as if they were physically real, creating embodied memories of triumph. Most importantly, immerse yourself completely in the emotional reality of achievement. Experience the pride, joy, gratitude, and satisfaction that would accompany the fulfillment of your deepest aspirations. These emotional states create the most powerful programming for your subconscious mind, which responds far more strongly to feelings than to mere thoughts or images. The optimal timing for these mental rehearsals occurs during the twilight zone between waking and sleeping, when your brainwaves naturally slow into theta frequencies and your critical faculty relaxes its vigilance. In this liminal state, the boundary between imagination and reality becomes permeable, allowing your mental rehearsals to penetrate deeply into subconscious awareness. Create structured protocols for your nightly rehearsals, treating them with the same dedication and consistency that Olympic athletes bring to their training. Choose specific scenarios that represent your most important goals and aspirations, then practice them with religious devotion night after night until they feel as familiar as memories of actual experiences. The repetition of mental rehearsal creates what neuroscientists call motor memory, neural pathways that guide behavior automatically without conscious thought or effort. Through consistent practice, the patterns of success become so deeply ingrained that they activate spontaneously when real opportunities arise. Your body and mind simply execute the programs you've installed through countless rehearsals. Variation within repetition prevents your mental rehearsals from becoming stale or mechanical. While maintaining the core elements of your visualization, introduce subtle changes in setting, circumstances, or approaches. This flexibility programs your subconscious to adapt successfully to different situations while maintaining the fundamental patterns of achievement. The emotional arc of your mental rehearsals should mirror the journey from challenge to triumph, allowing you to practice not just success, but the entire process of overcoming obstacles and growing through difficulties. This comprehensive programming prepares you for the complete experience of achievement, not just its final moments. As you develop mastery in the art of mental rehearsal, you begin to understand that the line between imagination and reality is far thinner than most people realize. Every great achievement began as someone's mental rehearsal, a vivid dream played out in the theater of consciousness before manifesting in physical form. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, remember that you're not just ending another day, you're entering the rehearsal studio where tomorrow's reality is being scripted and practiced. In this sacred space between waking and dreaming, you have unlimited access to any role you choose to play, any reality you dare to dream, any future you're brave enough to rehearse. Your subconscious mind stands ready to receive whatever programs you choose to install through the profound art of mental rehearsal. Use this power wisely, rehearse with dedication, and prepare to wake into a reality that matches the dreams you've been brave enough to practice in the depths of night. The moment has arrived to transform understanding into action, to alchemize knowledge into power, and to turn your sleeping hours into the most potent manifestation laboratory you've ever accessed. Tonight you step beyond theory into the practical realm where dreams crystallize into reality through the deliberate orchestration of your evening consciousness. The nightly manifestation loop. Loop represents the synthesis of everything you've learned, a systematic approach that harnesses the natural rhythms of sleep to create an unstoppable cycle of attraction, programming, and manifestation. This isn't wishful thinking or new age fantasy. This is a scientifically grounded protocol that aligns your vibrational frequency with your deepest desires while your subconscious mind remains in its most receptive state. Manifestation begins with understanding that you are not separate from the reality you wish to create. You are an integral part of a vast, interconnected field of consciousness that responds to the quality of your thoughts, emotions, and expectations. Quantum physics has revealed that at the subatomic level, observer and observed are inextricably linked, with consciousness itself playing a fundamental role in determining what becomes real. Your focused attention, especially when coupled with strong emotion, literally influences the probability of desired outcomes manifesting in your experience. The evening hours offer a unique window for manifestation work because your brain waves naturally slow into the alpha and theta frequencies that characterize heightened suggestibility and expanded awareness. In these states, the boundaries between your individual consciousness and the larger field of possibility become permeable, creating ideal conditions for programming new realities into existence. Your nightly manifestation loop consists of 3 interwoven components that work synergistically to align your entire being with your desired outcomes. Affirmations that reprogram your beliefs, gratitude that elevates your vibrational frequency, and visualization that creates detailed blueprints for your subconscious to manifest. Begin each evening with a gratitude practice that shifts your emotional state from whatever challenges the day brought into a frequency of abundance and appreciation. Gratitude is perhaps the most powerful emotion for manifestation because it signals to your subconscious and to the universe itself that you already live in abundance. When you consistently feel grateful for what you have, you attract more experiences worthy of gratitude. But make your gratitude practice specific and visceral rather than general and intellectual. Instead of simply noting that you're grateful for your health, feel deep appreciation for your body's ability to heal itself, for the miracle of your beating heart, for the gift of breath flowing effortlessly through your lungs. This emotional specificity creates stronger neural pathways and more powerful vibrational alignment with abundance. From this elevated emotional state, move into carefully crafted affirmations that speak directly to your subconscious mind in its preferred language. Your affirmations must feel believable to your current consciousness while simultaneously expanding your sense of possibility. If "I am a millionaire" feels too disconnected from your present reality, begin with "I am open to receiving abundance in surprising ways," or "money flows to me easily and naturally." The key to powerful affirmations lies in their ability to generate genuine emotion rather than mere intellectual agreement. When you speak your affirmations, feel them in your body. Experience the confidence, joy, excitement, or peace that would accompany their fulfillment. Your subconscious responds far more powerfully to emotion than to words alone. Layer your affirmations with present tense language that assumes your desires have already been fulfilled. Instead of "I will be successful," declare "I am naturally successful in all my endeavors." This linguistic shift signals to your subconscious that success is your current reality rather than some distant possibility, programming it to seek evidence and opportunities that confirm this new identity. Complete your manifestation loop with detailed visualization that engages all your senses in experiencing your desired reality as if it were happening now. This isn't daydreaming or fantasy, it's deliberate neural programming that creates the same brainwave patterns and biochemical responses you would experience during actual achievement. See your success with vivid clarity. If you're manifesting career advancement, visualize yourself in your new role with precise detail. The office environment, the conversations with colleagues, the satisfaction of meaningful work. Feel the confidence flowing through your body. Hear the respect in people's voices. Experience the pride and fulfillment that accompanies purposeful achievement. The power of this visualization lies not just in the mental images, but in the complete sensory and emotional experience you create. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual events when both are sufficiently detailed and emotionally engaging. Through consistent visualization, you literally program your mind and nervous system for success. Scientific research has revealed that visualization activates the same neural networks as actual experience. Athletes who mentally rehearse their performances show measurable improvements in physical execution. Surgeons who visualize complex procedures demonstrate enhanced skill and reduced error rates. Your brain builds neural pathways through imagination just as effectively as through physical practice. The concept of vibrational alignment bridges science and spirituality in understanding how manifestation works. At the quantum level, everything in existence vibrates at specific frequencies, including your thoughts, emotions, and expectations. When you consistently maintain thoughts and feelings that match the frequency of your desires, you literally tune yourself to attract experiences that resonate with that same frequency. This isn't metaphysical speculation, but measurable science. Your emotional states generate specific brainwave patterns and biochemical responses that influence your perception, decision-making, and behavior. When you feel grateful, confident, and excited about your future, you notice opportunities that would be invisible to someone operating from fear or doubt. You make different choices, take different actions, and attract different people and circumstances into your experience. The timing of your manifestation practice amplifies its effectiveness exponentially. As you prepare for sleep, your subconscious mind enters a state of heightened receptivity that will continue throughout the night. The programming you install during these evening hours continues working while you sleep, as your brain processes and integrates new information into your existing neural networks. Consistency transforms this practice from hopeful ritual into manifestation mastery. Each night, as you engage in your gratitude, affirmations, and visualization, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with success and abundance. Over time, these patterns become automatic, influencing your thoughts, emotions, and actions without conscious effort. Your nightly manifestation loop becomes a powerful reset button that clears away the day's limitations and programs your consciousness for expanded possibility. No matter what challenges you face during the day, each evening offers a fresh opportunity to align with your highest potential and set in motion the forces that will create your desired reality. As you begin implementing this practice tonight, remember that you're not just hoping for change, you're actively programming it into the very structure of your consciousness. Your dreams are no longer distant fantasies, but detailed blueprints being installed into the manifestation headquarters of your sleeping mind. Welcome to the most powerful transformation tool you've ever encountered, your own consciousness, deliberately aligned with the reality you're destined to create. The journey from sporadic positive thinking to consistent transformation requires a systematic approach, a reliable framework that guides you through the precise steps of subconscious reprogramming while building the consistency necessary for lasting change. The Subconscious Success Code provides exactly this structure, a proven methodology that transforms your evening hours into a powerful success laboratory. This code operates on the 4 R's framework: relax, reprogram, reinforce, and reflect, a systematic sequence that maximizes your brain's receptivity while ensuring that positive programming penetrates deeply into your subconscious awareness. Each component builds upon the previous one, creating a synergistic effect that exceeds the power of any individual element. The first R, relax, acknowledges that transformation cannot occur while your nervous system remains in a state of stress or hypervigilance. Your brain's critical faculty, which normally filters and often rejects new information, must be gently coaxed into a state of openness and receptivity. This requires deliberate practices that shift your physiology from the sympathetic nervous system's fight or flight response to the parasympathetic system's rest and digest mode. Begin your relaxation phase by creating a sacred boundary between the day's activities and the evening's transformation work. This might involve a warm shower that symbolically washes away stress, changing into comfortable clothing that signals rest, or engaging in gentle stretching that releases physical tension. These transitional activities serve as triggers that signal to your nervous system that the workday is complete and the healing can begin. Conscious breathing serves as your most powerful tool for activating the relaxation response. The 4-7-8 technique proves particularly effective. Inhale quietly through your nose for 4 counts. Hold your breath for 7 counts. then exhale completely through your mouth for 8 counts. This pattern naturally slows your heart rate, reduces cortisol levels, and shifts your brain waves toward the alpha and theta frequencies that characterize heightened receptivity. Progressive muscle relaxation completes your relaxation protocol by systematically releasing tension throughout your entire body, beginning with your toes and moving upward. Deliberately tense each muscle group for 5 seconds, then release completely, noticing the contrast between tension and relaxation. This practice not only eliminates physical stress, but also trains your nervous system to recognize and create states of deep peace. The second R, Reprogram, represents the heart of your transformation work, where you consciously install new beliefs, behaviors, and emotional patterns into your subconscious awareness. This phase requires careful attention to the specific language patterns and delivery methods that maximize subconscious acceptance while minimizing resistance. Your reprogramming arsenal includes carefully crafted affirmations that speak directly to your subconscious mind's preferred communication style. These statements must be phrased in present tense, use positive rather than negative language, and feel emotionally resonant rather than intellectually abstract. I am naturally confident and capable in all situations programs more effectively than I won't be anxious anymore, because the first creates a positive identity while the second focuses attention on the unwanted condition. Visualization serves as your most powerful reprogramming tool because it engages multiple sensory channels simultaneously while creating emotional experiences that feel real to your subconscious mind. Create detailed mental movies of your success, engaging all 5 senses and experiencing the emotions of achievement as if your goals had already been accomplished. Your brain cannot distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual events, making visualization a form of mental rehearsal that programs your nervous system for success. The third R, Reinforce, recognizes that single exposures to positive programming rarely create lasting change. Your subconscious mind responds most powerfully to repetition, consistency, and emotional intensity. This phase involves deliberate practices that strengthen the neural pathways associated with your desired outcomes, while weakening the patterns that no longer serve you. Repetition must be paired with emotional engagement to create lasting change. Simply repeating affirmations without feeling rarely produces results, but when you combine repetition with genuine emotion, you create the neural firing patterns that transform temporary thoughts into permanent beliefs. Feel the truth of your affirmations in your body, experience the excitement of your visualizations in your heart, and allow the emotions of success to flow through your entire being. Consistency accelerates the reinforcement process by providing regular opportunities for your brain to strengthen new neural pathways. The 21-day rule, based on research showing that new habits typically require approximately 3 weeks to become automatic, provides a practical framework for building lasting change. Commit to practicing your reprogramming protocol every evening for 21 consecutive days, understanding that each night builds upon the previous one in creating permanent transformation. The fourth R, Reflect, completes your framework by creating conscious awareness of the changes occurring in your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This metacognitive awareness not only helps you track your progress, but also reinforces the positive changes by drawing conscious attention to them. Keep a transformation journal where you record insights, experiences, and evidence of positive change. Notice shifts in your confidence levels, changes in how others respond to you, new opportunities that appear, or simply a growing sense of optimism about your future. These observations serve as feedback that validates your progress while motivating continued practice. Building consistency over 21 days requires understanding the stages of habit formation and preparing for the challenges that inevitably arise. The first week typically brings enthusiasm and initial results as your consciousness responds to the novelty of positive programming. The second week often presents the greatest challenge as initial enthusiasm wanes and old patterns attempt to reassert themselves. This is the crucial period where commitment and discipline determine whether new habits take root or fade away. The third week usually brings breakthrough moments as the new patterns begin feeling natural and automatic. Your evening reprogramming routine transforms from something you have to remember to do into something you want to do because you can feel its positive effects in your daily life. Create environmental supports that make consistency easier. Prepare your space in advance, eliminate distractions, and consider using audio programs that guide you through the 4 R's framework. If maintaining focus proves challenging, some people benefit from accountability partners who share their commitment to transformation, while others prefer the private sanctuary of solo practice. Track your consistency with visual tools that provide immediate feedback about your progress. A simple calendar with check marks for each completed session creates a visual chain of success that motivates continued practice. Missing one day becomes acceptable setback rather than total failure when you can see the overall pattern of consistency you're building. The subconscious success code transforms sporadic hope into systematic transformation by providing a reliable structure that works with your brain's natural architecture rather than against it. Each evening, as you move through the 4 R's framework, you're not just practicing relaxation and positive thinking, you're engaging in sophisticated neural programming that creates lasting change at the deepest levels of your consciousness. Tonight, as you begin implementing this systematic approach, remember that you're following a proven methodology that has transformed countless lives. The framework itself becomes your guide, ensuring that each element of your practice supports and amplifies the others in creating the comprehensive transformation you seek. Your success is not left to chance but built methodically, night after night, through the reliable power of the subconscious success code. In the sacred laboratory of the evening hours lies perhaps the most transformative work you can undertake, the ancient art of emotional alchemy, transmuting the dense energies of anger, fear, resentment, and despair into the golden frequencies of peace, love, compassion, and joy. This is not mere emotional suppression or positive thinking overlay, but a profound process of energetic transformation that clears the emotional debris, blocking your manifestation channels, and opens pathways for your highest potential to emerge. Your emotional state as you enter sleep determines the vibrational frequency that will dominate your subconscious programming throughout the night. Carrying unresolved anger, hurt, or fear into your sleep creates a toxic programming environment where negative emotions continue recycling through your system, reinforcing limiting beliefs and attracting more experiences that match these dense frequencies. Emotional alchemy offers a different path, one that transforms these challenging emotions into fuel for your spiritual and psychological evolution. The process begins with the revolutionary understanding that emotions are not obstacles to overcome, but energy to transform. Every emotion, regardless of how painful or destructive it may seem, contains vital information and creative potential. Anger reveals what you value and where your boundaries have been violated. Fear highlights what matters most to you and where you need to develop greater courage. Sadness opens your heart to deeper compassion and appreciation for love. Even the most challenging emotions become allies when approached with wisdom and skillful means. Emotional alchemy requires first creating a safe container for transformation, a sacred space where you can fully experience and process whatever emotions arise without judgment or resistance. This might involve lighting a candle to symbolize the transformative fire of awareness, playing soft music that supports emotional release, or simply sitting in comfortable solitude where you feel completely safe to feel whatever needs to be felt. The practice of conscious feeling represents the foundation of emotional alchemy. Most people either suppress difficult emotions or become overwhelmed by them, but neither approach leads to transformation. Instead, you learn to feel emotions fully while maintaining the awareness that you are the consciousness experiencing the emotion rather than the emotion itself. This subtle but crucial distinction allows you to process emotional energy without being consumed by it. Begin by scanning your body for areas of tension, contraction, or discomfort that signal the presence of stored emotions. Place your hand on your heart and breathe slowly and deeply, sending compassionate awareness to whatever you discover. Rather than trying to fix, change, or understand these feelings, simply acknowledge their presence with the same gentle attention you might offer a frightened child. Forgiveness emerges as the master key of emotional alchemy, not because forgiveness excuses harmful behavior or makes everything okay, but because forgiveness frees you from carrying toxic emotional residue that poisons your own system. True forgiveness is ultimately a gift you give yourself, a decision to stop allowing past hurts to continue damaging your present and future. The practice of forgiveness begins with self-forgiveness, recognizing that you have done the best you could with the awareness, skills, and circumstances available to you at the time. This doesn't excuse mistakes or harmful actions, but acknowledges the essential humanity that includes both wisdom and ignorance, love and fear, skillful and unskillful responses to life's challenges. Forgive yourself for the times you acted from fear rather than love, for the opportunities you missed due to lack of confidence, for the relationships you damaged through unconscious patterns, for the dreams you abandoned because they seemed impossible. This self-forgiveness doesn't condone past actions, but releases you from the energetic burden of carrying shame and regret that block your transformation. Extending forgiveness to others requires understanding that hurt people, that those who caused you pain were operating from their own unhealed wounds, limited awareness, and unconscious patterns. This understanding doesn't minimize the impact of their actions, but recognizes the suffering that drove those actions, allowing you to respond with compassion rather than continuing the cycle of pain. The Ho'oponopono practice from Hawaiian tradition offers a powerful framework for forgiveness. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. These 4 simple phrases address different aspects of the forgiveness process, taking responsibility for your part in creating or maintaining difficult situations, requesting forgiveness for any harm caused, expressing gratitude for the learning opportunities embedded in challenging experiences, and opening your heart to love regardless of circumstances. Release practices help move emotional energy through your system rather than allowing it to stagnate and create physical or psychological symptoms. Conscious breathing serves as the simplest and most accessible release technique, breathing into areas of emotional contraction and allowing the breath to carry away tension and negativity as you exhale. Visualize dark, heavy energy leaving your body with each out-breath, while fresh, healing light enters with each inhalation. Physical movement facilitates emotional release by literally moving energy through your body's systems. Gentle stretching, yoga poses, or even vigorous exercise can help process emotional energy that might otherwise become trapped in your tissues. Some people benefit from more dramatic release practices like screaming into pillows, punching cushions, or allowing themselves to cry deeply until the emotional charge dissipates naturally. Journaling provides another powerful avenue for emotional processing and release. Write letters to people who have hurt you, letters you will never send but that allow you to express your truth fully and completely. Write letters to your younger self, offering the compassion and understanding you needed during difficult times. Write letters to your future self, expressing your hopes, dreams, and commitment to continued growth. The practice of loving-kindness meditation transforms your emotional landscape by cultivating positive emotions that naturally crowd out negative ones. Begin by sending loving wishes to yourself. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. May I be filled with love. Feel these intentions in your heart rather than simply thinking them intellectually. Gradually extend these loving wishes to others, first to loved ones, then to neutral people in your life, then to difficult people, and finally to all beings everywhere. This practice doesn't require feeling artificial love for those who have harmed you, but rather cultivating a genuine wish for the healing and happiness that would prevent future harm. Compassion practices recognize that suffering is an inevitable part of the human experience while developing the wisdom and strength to respond to suffering with love rather than resistance. When painful emotions arise, place your hand on your heart and acknowledge, this is a moment of suffering. Suffering is part of life. May I be kind to myself in this moment. This simple practice transforms your relationship with difficulty, from resistance to acceptance, from isolation to connection with the shared human experience. The evening hours provide the ideal time for emotional alchemy because your nervous system naturally becomes more receptive and your defenses soften in preparation for sleep. Use this natural opening to practice deep emotional processing and release, clearing away the day's accumulated stress while programming your subconscious for peace and healing throughout the night. As you engage in emotional alchemy, remember that this work is not about achieving a constant state of bliss or eliminating all difficult emotions from your life. Instead, it's about developing the skills and wisdom to transform whatever emotions arise into opportunities for growth, healing, and expanded consciousness. Through this practice, you become an emotional alchemist, capable of transmuting any experience into greater love, wisdom, and freedom. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, approach whatever emotions are present with curiosity rather than judgment, compassion rather than resistance, and trust in your inherent capacity for healing and transformation. The gold of emotional wisdom awaits your alchemical touch. The time has come to synthesize everything you've learned into a personalized, step-by-step protocol that transforms your evening hours into the most powerful success laboratory you've ever accessed. This is your sleep success blueprint, a detailed architectural plan for constructing nightly routines that systematically reprogram your subconscious mind while you rest, ensuring that you wake each morning closer to the person you're destined to become. Your blueprint operates on the principle that success is not an accident, but a predictable result of consistent, deliberate practices that align your entire being with your highest aspirations. By designing and implementing a structured evening routine, you create a reliable system that works regardless of your daily circumstances, energy levels, or external challenges. This blueprint becomes your secret weapon, a transformative practice that operates silently and powerfully while the rest of the world sleeps. The foundation of your sleep success blueprint rests on understanding that your evening routine must be both systematic enough to ensure consistency and flexible enough to accommodate your unique personality, lifestyle, and goals. The framework provides structure while allowing for personal customization that makes the practice sustainable and enjoyable rather than burdensome or mechanical. Begin designing your blueprint by establishing your sleep success window, a protected period of time, typically 30 to 60 minutes before your intended sleep time, that becomes sacred space devoted exclusively to transformation work. This window must be jealously guarded against the encroachment of work demands, social obligations, or mindless entertainment. Just as you wouldn't allow interruptions during an important business meeting, your sleep success window deserves the same level of protection and priority. Phase 1 of your blueprint focuses on transition and preparation, deliberately shifting your consciousness from the day's activities to the evening's transformation work. This phase typically requires 10 to 15 minutes and serves as a ritual boundary that signals to your nervous system that the workday is complete and the healing can begin. Start your transition with a physical cleansing ritual that symbolically washes away the day's stress and negativity. This might involve a warm shower while consciously releasing tension and worry, washing your hands while visualizing cleansing away limiting thoughts, or simply changing into comfortable clothing that signals rest and renewal. These simple acts create powerful psychological anchors that help your mind shift from external focus to internal transformation. Create an environmental sanctuary that supports deep relaxation and introspection. Dim the lights to signal your brain to begin producing melatonin. Eliminate electronic devices that emit blue light and mental stimulation, and consider incorporating elements that engage your senses in peaceful ways, perhaps soft music, calming scents, or comfortable textures that promote relaxation. Phase 2 encompasses deep relaxation and nervous system regulation, systematically shifting your physiology from stress to serenity while preparing your brain for maximum receptivity to positive programming. This phase typically requires 10 to 15 minutes and forms the foundation upon which all subsequent transformation work builds. Begin with conscious breathing techniques that activate your parasympathetic nervous system. The 4-7-8 pattern proves consistently effective. Inhale quietly through your nose for 4 counts, hold your breath for 7 counts, then exhale completely through your mouth for 8 counts. Repeat this cycle 4 to 8 times, allowing each repetition to deepen your relaxation and slow your brainwaves toward alpha and theta frequencies. Progressive muscle relaxation completes your physiological preparation by systematically releasing tension throughout your entire body, starting with your toes and moving upward through each muscle group. Deliberately tense each area for 5 seconds, then release completely while noticing the contrast between tension and relaxation. This practice not only eliminates physical stress, but also creates the deep bodily relaxation that supports subconscious receptivity. Phase 3 involves conscious programming and manifestation work, the heart of your blueprint where you deliberately install new beliefs, behaviors, and outcomes into your subconscious awareness. This phase typically requires 15 to 20 minutes and represents the most important investment of time in your entire day. Start this phase with gratitude practices that elevate your vibrational frequency and create emotional states that support manifestation. Express genuine appreciation for specific aspects of your life, feeling the emotions of gratitude in your body rather than simply thinking grateful thoughts. This emotional elevation creates the optimal internal environment for positive programming to take root. Implement your carefully crafted affirmation sequence, speaking each statement with emotional conviction and complete belief in its truth. Your affirmation should be personalized to address your specific goals and challenges while using language patterns that feel natural and believable to your current consciousness. Speak them aloud when possible, as vocalization creates additional neural pathways through auditory processing. Engage in detailed visualization exercises that create complete sensory experiences of your desired outcomes. See your success with vivid clarity. Hear the sounds associated with achievement. Feel the physical sensations of accomplishment. And most importantly, experience the emotions of fulfillment as if your goals had already been realized. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual events, making this visualization a form of pre-living your success. Phase 4 encompasses integration and release, allowing your conscious programming work to settle into your subconscious awareness while preparing for the deeper transformation that occurs during sleep. This final phase typically requires 5 to 10 minutes and creates a smooth transition from active programming to receptive rest. Set clear intentions for your sleep, specifically requesting that your subconscious mind integrate and amplify the positive programming you've installed while continuing the transformation work throughout the night. These intentions serve as directives to your deeper mind, ensuring that your sleep becomes active transformation time rather than mere rest. Practice conscious surrender, releasing attachment to how and when your desired outcomes will manifest while maintaining complete faith that the programming work you've completed will bear fruit in perfect timing. This surrender paradoxically accelerates manifestation by eliminating the energetic resistance that comes from desperate attachment to specific outcomes. Your sleep success blueprint should be documented in writing, creating a step-by-step guide that ensures consistency regardless of your daily energy levels or mental state. Having a written protocol eliminates decision-making fatigue and ensures that you maintain your practice even when motivation fluctuates. Customize your blueprint based on your personal preferences and lifestyle constraints. Some people respond better to longer meditation periods, while others prefer more time devoted to visualization. Some benefit from guided audio programs, while others prefer the silence of internal focus. Honor your individual nature while maintaining the core elements that ensure transformation. Track your consistency using simple metrics that provide immediate feedback about your progress. A calendar with check marks for completed sessions creates visual evidence of your commitment while highlighting any gaps in your practice. Consider also tracking subjective measures like sleep quality, morning energy levels, or overall life satisfaction to document the broader impacts of your blueprint. Build flexibility into your blueprint to accommodate travel, illness, or unusual circumstances. Develop abbreviated versions of your protocol that maintain the essential elements even when time is limited. Having contingency plans prevents temporary disruptions from derailing your long-term practice. Your sleep success blueprint represents more than an evening routine. It's a systematic approach to conscious evolution that harnesses the natural rhythms of sleep to accelerate your personal transformation. Each night, as you move through your personalized protocol, you're not just preparing for rest, but actively constructing the person you're becoming. Tonight, as you implement your blueprint for the first time, remember that you're establishing a practice that will compound its benefits over weeks, months, and years. The person you'll become through consistent application of these principles exists already in potential, waiting for the systematic cultivation that your sleep success blueprint provides. Your transformation begins now, one conscious evening at a time. In the quiet depths of your sleeping mind, a profound teacher awakens, one that requires no words, demands no conscious effort, and operates with the patient persistence of nature itself. This is the silent teacher of habit formation, the invisible architect that transforms deliberate practices into automatic responses, conscious efforts into effortless mastery. Through the mysterious alchemy of neuroplasticity, your repeated evening programming gradually becomes the unconscious foundation upon which your new life builds itself. The journey from conscious practice to unconscious mastery represents one of the most remarkable features of human neurology. What begins as awkward, effortful attempts to think differently eventually transforms into the natural way your mind operates. The affirmations you once had to remember to speak become the inner voice that guides your decisions. The visualizations you once had to consciously create become the automatic mental rehearsals that prepare you for success. The emotions you once had to deliberately cultivate become your natural response to life's challenges and opportunities. This transformation happens through the patient work of the silent teacher, operating primarily during your sleeping hours when conscious resistance finally steps aside and allows new patterns to embed themselves into the very structure of your neural networks. Each night, as you engage in your programming practices, you're not just installing temporary positive thoughts. You're literally rewiring the circuitry of your brain, creating new highways of neural connection that will eventually become the default pathways through which your consciousness flows. Neuroscience has revealed that habit formation follows a predictable pattern that unfolds over approximately 66 days of consistent practice. Though simpler habits may solidify more quickly, while complex behavioral changes require longer integration periods. Your sleep programming practices fall into the category of complex changes because they involve not just new behaviors, but fundamental shifts in beliefs, emotional patterns, and unconscious responses to life circumstances. The first phase of habit formation, lasting roughly 3 weeks, is characterized by high conscious effort and variable results. During this period, your evening practices require deliberate intention and consistent willpower to maintain. Your old patterns of thinking and feeling continue to assert themselves strongly, creating internal resistance that can make the new practices feel forced or artificial. This is the crucial period where many people abandon their transformation efforts, mistaking the natural resistance of change for evidence that the practices aren't working. But the silent teacher is already at work during this challenging phase, quietly strengthening the neural pathways associated with your new practices while gradually weakening the connections that support old, limiting patterns. Each time you choose positive programming over passive consumption of media, each time you select empowering affirmations over negative self-talk, each time you visualize success rather than worry about failure, you cast another vote for the person you're becoming. The second phase, spanning weeks 4 through 6, typically brings the first glimpses of automatic responses emerging from your programming work. You might catch yourself naturally thinking more optimistically, feeling more confident in challenging situations, or noticing opportunities that would have previously escaped your attention. These spontaneous, positive responses signal that your subconscious mind is beginning to integrate the new programming into its default operations. During this phase, the practices themselves begin feeling more natural and less effortful. Your evening routine transforms from something you have to force yourself to do into something you look forward to as a peaceful sanctuary from daily stress. The resistance that characterized the first phase diminishes as your nervous system recognizes these practices as beneficial rather than threatening to existing patterns. The third phase, extending from weeks 7 through 10, marks the emergence of what researchers call consolidation, the period when new neural pathways become sufficiently strengthened to influence behavior automatically. Your positive programming begins manifesting as spontaneous responses to situations rather than conscious choices requiring deliberate effort. Confidence emerges naturally in challenging circumstances. Optimism becomes your default perspective on problems and setbacks. Success-oriented actions feel increasingly automatic and effortless. The final phase of habit formation creates what psychologists term behavioral maintenance, the stage where new patterns become so deeply integrated that they require no conscious effort to sustain. Your transformed beliefs and responses have become the new normal, operating below the threshold of awareness while consistently guiding your thoughts, emotions, and actions toward outcomes that align with your highest aspirations. The silent teacher accomplishes this transformation through several sophisticated mechanisms that operate exclusively during sleep. Memory consolidation processes transfer information from temporary storage in the hippocampus to permanent networks in the cortex, ensuring that your positive programming becomes part of your long-term psychological architecture. During REM sleep, your brain actively rehearses new patterns and integrates them with existing memories and beliefs, creating cohesive internal consistency that supports behavioral change. Perhaps most remarkably, your sleeping brain engages in a process called neural pruning, where unused connections are eliminated to make room for stronger pathways that support your new patterns of thought and behavior. The limiting beliefs and negative emotional patterns that once dominated your consciousness literally begin to dissolve as your brain allocates more neural resources to the empowering patterns you've been consistently programming. The silent teacher also operates through what neuroscientists call implicit learning, the acquisition of knowledge and skills that occurs below conscious awareness. While you sleep, your brain continues processing the positive programming you've installed, making connections and generating insights that emerge as improved performance, enhanced creativity, and expanded problem-solving abilities during your waking hours. This process explains why people often report sudden breakthroughs, unexpected opportunities, or dramatic shifts in their circumstances after weeks or months of consistent sleep programming. These apparent coincidences are actually the natural result of internal changes that have been building invisibly through the patient work of the silent teacher, finally reaching the threshold where they begin manifesting as external improvements in life circumstances. The effectiveness of the silent teacher depends entirely on the consistency and quality of the programming you provide. Sporadic efforts produce minimal results because neural pathways require regular reinforcement to strengthen and stabilize. But when you consistently provide high-quality positive programming night after night, the cumulative effects create transformation that exceeds anything achievable through conscious effort alone. Understanding the silent teacher's methods helps you maintain patience and persistence during the initial phases of transformation when changes may not yet be visible in your external circumstances. Trust that profound work is happening beneath the surface of consciousness, building the internal foundation for the external success that will inevitably follow. The silent teacher never judges, never rushes, never gives up on your transformation. It simply continues its patient work, night after night, gradually and invisibly reshaping the neural landscape of your consciousness until success becomes not something you achieve through effort, but something you embody through being. This is the ultimate gift of sleep-based transformation, the evolution from conscious trying to unconscious mastery, from effortful change to effortless being. Tonight, as you engage in your programming practices, honor the silent teacher that will continue working long after your conscious mind has surrendered to sleep. Trust in its wisdom, patience, and unwavering commitment to your transformation. Your success is being built one night at a time, one neural connection at a time, through the mysterious alchemy of the sleeping mind guided by conscious intention toward unconscious mastery. The first light of dawn breaks differently when it illuminates a transformed consciousness, where once you awaken to the familiar weight of limitation and the persistent whisper of inadequacy, you now emerge from sleep's embrace, carrying the quiet confidence of someone who has been fundamentally rewired for success. This is not the temporary high of positive thinking or the fragile hope of wishful motivation. This is the solid foundation of neural transformation, the bedrock of new beliefs that have taken root in the deepest structures of your mind. The morning mirror reflects more than your physical appearance. It shows you a person whose very perception of reality has been quietly revolutionized during the sacred hours of sleep. Your eyes carry a different light, the sparkle of someone who sees possibilities where others see obstacles, opportunities where others encounter setbacks, solutions where others surrender to problems. This shift in perception represents the flowering of countless nights of subconscious reprogramming, the harvest of seeds planted in the fertile darkness of theta and delta consciousness. Neuroscience reveals that perception itself is not passive reception of external reality, but active construction based on the neural pathways that have been strengthened through experience and repetition. Your brain literally builds your reality from the raw material of sensory input, filtered through the lens of beliefs, expectations, and emotional patterns that have been encoded in your neural networks. When you systematically reprogram these networks through sleep-based practices, you fundamentally alter the reality construction process itself. The new neural pathways you've cultivated through months of dedicated practice now serve as superhighways of consciousness, carrying thoughts, emotions, and perceptions toward success with the same automaticity that old patterns once channeled energy toward limitation. Where you once automatically noticed what was missing, you now instinctively recognize abundance. Where you once reflexively anticipated failure, you now naturally expect positive outcomes. These shifts happen below the threshold of conscious effort, emerging as spontaneous responses that feel perfectly natural because they have become your new psychological default. Your self-image, that fundamental constellation of beliefs about who you are and what you're capable of, has undergone silent revolution. The timid, doubting, limited identity that once defined your sense of self has been gradually dissolved and replaced by something far more expansive and empowering. You no longer need to convince yourself that you're capable. You simply know it with the unshakable certainty that comes from neural pathways that have been reinforced night after night until they became permanent features of your psychological landscape. This transformation in self-image creates what psychologists call identity congruence, the alignment between who you believe you are and what you believe you deserve. When your deep identity embraces success as natural and inevitable, your behavior automatically aligns to create circumstances that match this internal reality. You take different actions not because you force yourself to, but because those actions feel consistent with who you have become. The morning meditation of the transformed mind reveals thoughts that arise from fundamentally different source code. Instead of the familiar litany of worries, doubts, and limitations, your mental landscape now generates ideas about possibility, strategies for growth, and creative solutions to challenges. This shift reflects the deep programming work that has been occurring during sleep, where new thought patterns have been installed and old ones gradually dissolved. Your emotional baseline, the natural emotional state you return to when not actively engaged in specific activities, has elevated to frequencies that support, rather than sabotage, your aspirations. The chronic undercurrent of anxiety that once characterized your inner experience has been replaced by a subtle but persistent sense of optimism and possibility. This emotional transformation didn't happen through positive thinking or emotional suppression, but through the systematic reprogramming of the neural networks that generate emotional responses automatically. Behavioral changes emerge with startling naturalness as your actions align with your transformed inner landscape. You find yourself speaking up in meetings with a confidence that surprises even you. You pursue opportunities that your old self would have deemed impossible or inappropriate. You set boundaries with a clarity that protects your energy while honoring others. These behaviors don't feel forced or artificial because they flow naturally from the person you have become at the neural level. The rhythm of your days reflects the deeper transformation occurring in your consciousness, where once you move through life with the hesitant energy of someone uncertain of their place in the world, you now navigate challenges with the assured presence of someone who knows their worth and capabilities. This presence isn't arrogance or false confidence, but the quiet strength that emerges from deep psychological congruence. Your relationships begin shifting in response to the energy you now emanate. People respond to you differently, with more respect, interest, and collaboration, because your inner transformation radiates outward through subtle changes in posture, voice, facial expressions, and energetic presence. You attract different types of people and opportunities because your vibrational frequency now resonates with success rather than struggle. The compound effect of these changes creates momentum that accelerates your external progress exponentially. Small improvements in confidence lead to better performance, which generates recognition and opportunities, which further reinforces your transformed self-image. This creates an upward spiral of success that feels both surprising and inevitable. Surprising because the external changes happen so quickly, inevitable because they flow naturally from the internal transformation you've systematically cultivated. Decision-making transforms from agonizing deliberation to intuitive clarity as your unconscious wisdom aligns with your conscious goals. The internal conflict between what you want and what you believe you deserve dissolves, creating clean channels for decision-making that serve rather than sabotage your highest aspirations. You trust your instincts because they now arise from programming that supports rather than undermines your success. Your tolerance for mediocrity evaporates as your transformed consciousness naturally gravitates toward excellence and growth. Standards that once seemed impossibly high now feel like natural expressions of who you are. You no longer settle for less than you deserve because your deep identity has expanded to embrace your highest potential as normal rather than exceptional. The morning ritual of intention setting takes on new power as you align conscious goals with unconscious programming that has already accepted their inevitability. Your affirmations carry the weight of deep belief rather than hopeful wishing because they express truths about yourself that have been encoded in the very structure of your neural networks. Physical health often improves spontaneously as stress patterns dissolve and self-care becomes a natural expression of your elevated self-worth. You sleep more deeply because your subconscious mind no longer carries the burden of unresolved conflicts between your aspirations and beliefs. You wake more refreshed because your sleep serves transformation rather than merely rest. The lens through which you interpret setbacks and challenges transforms completely. What once triggered spirals of self-doubt and limitation now generates curiosity about lessons to be learned and strategies to be refined. Resilience becomes automatic because failure no longer threatens your core identity, but simply provides information for course correction. As you move through your transformed days, carrying the quiet confidence of someone whose success feels inevitable rather than uncertain, remember that this transformation represents not an ending, but a new beginning. The neural pathways you've created through dedicated practice now serve as the foundation for continued growth and expansion. You have not merely achieved success, you have become someone for whom success is a natural expression of their being. The morning light that illuminates your awakened consciousness reveals not just a new day, but a new self, one shaped by the patient alchemy of sleep-based transformation, one worthy of the dreams that once seemed impossible, one ready to create realities that exceed even your highest aspirations. In the liminal realm where sleep meets wakefulness lies perhaps the most profound frontier of human consciousness, the ability to maintain awareness while immersed in the dream state, to become fully conscious within the theater of the subconscious mind. This extraordinary capacity, known as lucid dreaming, represents the ultimate integration of conscious intention with unconscious wisdom, creating unprecedented opportunities for growth, healing, and transformation that extend far beyond the boundaries of ordinary sleep. Lucid dreaming occurs when you recognize that you are dreaming while still remaining within the dream itself. In this unique state of consciousness, you maintain the critical thinking abilities of wakefulness while accessing the unlimited creative potential of the dreaming mind. You become simultaneously the observer and the observed, the director and the actor in a reality where physical laws dissolve and infinite possibilities become available for exploration and mastery. The neuroscience of lucid dreaming reveals a fascinating hybrid state where multiple brain regions that typically alternate between sleep and wake cycles become simultaneously active. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for self-awareness and critical thinking, maintains enough activation to recognize the dream state, while the limbic system continues generating the vivid imagery and emotional experiences characteristic of normal dreaming. This creates a consciousness that transcends the limitations of either pure waking or sleeping awareness. Developing lucid dreaming abilities requires patient cultivation of the bridge between conscious and unconscious states of mind. The foundation begins with heightened dream recall, as you cannot become lucid in dreams you don't remember. Keep a dream journal beside your bed and record whatever fragments you recall immediately upon waking, before the analytical mind can edit or dismiss them. This practice trains your consciousness to value and attend to dream experiences, gradually increasing both recall and awareness within dreams. Reality checking throughout your waking hours creates the habit of questioning whether you're dreaming or awake, a practice that eventually transfers into the dream state itself. Regularly examine your hands, read text twice to see if it changes, check digital clocks for consistency, or question the logical coherence of your experiences. These reality checks, performed consistently during waking hours, eventually become automatic responses that trigger lucidity when dream logic fails these simple tests. The practice of meditation enhances lucid dreaming by developing the self-awareness and mindful attention that make dream recognition possible. As you strengthen your ability to observe your thoughts and experiences without being completely absorbed by them, you develop the psychological flexibility needed to maintain awareness within the flowing landscape of dreams. Intention setting before sleep programs your subconscious mind to recognize dream states and maintain consciousness within them. As you prepare for sleep, clearly state your intention to become lucid in your dreams, visualizing yourself recognizing dream signs and maintaining awareness throughout dream experiences. This practice plants seeds in your subconscious that can flower into lucid awareness during sleep. The wake back to bed technique leverages the natural architecture of sleep cycles to increase lucid dreaming probability. Set an alarm for 4 to 6 hours after falling asleep. Wake briefly to recall any dreams, then return to sleep while maintaining the intention to become lucid. This timing targets REM sleep periods when dreams are most vivid and lucidity most achievable. Once you develop the ability to become lucid in dreams, an entire universe of possibilities opens for conscious exploration and development. In the dream state, you can practice skills without physical limitations, confront fears in completely safe environments, explore creative solutions to waking problems, and experience realities that transcend the boundaries of physical existence. Athletic and artistic performance can be enhanced through lucid dream practice, where you can rehearse complex movements, perfect techniques, and experience success without the constraints of physical coordination or external conditions. Musicians can practice difficult pieces, athletes can perfect their form, and artists can explore creative visions with unlimited materials and environments. Healing work becomes possible through lucid dreaming as you consciously direct dream imagery toward resolution of physical, emotional, or psychological challenges. You can visualize healing light flowing through your body, have conversations with symbolic representations of illness or trauma, or create transformative experiences that reprogram limiting beliefs at their source. The integration of lucid dreaming with waking consciousness creates a seamless flow of awareness that enhances mindfulness and presence throughout your daily life. The heightened awareness developed through lucid dreaming naturally extends into waking hours, making you more conscious of thoughts, emotions, and environmental details that might otherwise escape notice. Lucid dreaming serves as training for what spiritual traditions call dream yoga, the recognition that all experiences, whether sleeping or waking, are constructions of consciousness that can be consciously influenced and transformed. This perspective gradually dissolves the artificial boundaries between dreaming and waking reality, revealing both as malleable expressions of the same fundamental awareness. The practice of maintaining consciousness during sleep naturally enhances mindfulness during waking hours. The skills developed in recognizing dream states, careful observation, reality testing, and maintaining awareness during changing experiences transfer directly to enhanced presence and clarity in daily life. You become more aware of automatic thoughts and reactions, more capable of conscious choice rather than unconscious habit. Lucid dreaming also provides direct access to the symbolic language of the subconscious mind, allowing conscious dialogue with the deeper layers of your psyche. You can ask dreams for guidance on specific problems, request healing for emotional wounds, or explore the symbolic representations that your unconscious uses to process experiences and emotions. The integration of conscious dreaming with conscious living creates a unified approach to existence, where awareness flows seamlessly between all states of consciousness. Sleep becomes not an escape from consciousness, but an expansion of it, a realm where the same awareness that guides your waking choices can consciously participate in the profound work of psychological and spiritual transformation. Advanced practitioners develop the ability to program specific learning and healing experiences within lucid dreams, using conscious intention to guide dream content toward particular goals or insights. This represents the ultimate marriage of conscious will with unconscious wisdom, creating deliberate experiences that serve growth and transformation. The boundary between dreaming and waking consciousness gradually becomes more permeable as you develop lucid dreaming abilities. This doesn't mean losing touch with reality, but rather expanding your definition of reality to include all states of consciousness as valid and valuable expressions of awareness itself. Regular practice of lucid dreaming transforms your relationship with sleep from passive rest to active exploration and development. Each night becomes an opportunity for conscious adventure, learning, and transformation that extends far beyond the restorative functions of normal sleep. The skills developed through lucid dreaming, heightened awareness, reality testing, conscious choice within changing circumstances, become invaluable tools for navigating the complex challenges of modern life with greater clarity, creativity, and wisdom. As you explore the frontiers of conscious dreaming, remember that you're not merely learning an interesting skill, but developing capacities that integrate and enhance every aspect of your existence. The consciousness that can maintain awareness within dreams carries that same clarity and presence into every moment of waking life, creating a unified experience of aware living that transcends the artificial boundaries between sleeping and waking reality. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep with the intention of maintaining consciousness within your dreams, know that you're embarking on one of humanity's most ancient and profound spiritual practices, one that reveals the true nature of consciousness itself as unlimited, creative, and inherently free. In the still waters of deep reflection lies perhaps the most sacred practice available to the awakened consciousness, the art of witnessing your own transformation through the gentle mirror of self-observation. This is not the harsh judgment of self-criticism or the anxious monitoring of progress metrics, but the loving awareness that recognizes profound change unfolding in the subtle dimensions of thought, feeling, and being. Here, in the sanctuary of honest self-reflection, you begin to see clearly the miraculous alchemy that has been occurring beneath the surface of ordinary awareness. The practice of conscious reflection transforms what might otherwise be random experiences into profound teachings about the nature of consciousness and the mechanics of transformation. When you approach your inner landscape with the reverence of a spiritual explorer and the precision of a scientist, every thought becomes data about your evolving consciousness. Every emotion reveals information about your changing relationship with reality, and every dream offers symbolic guidance from the deepest wellsprings of your wisdom. Journaling emerges as the most powerful tool for this sacred self-witnessing, creating a written record of your inner journey that reveals patterns and progressions invisible to casual observation. But this is not ordinary journaling focused on external events and surface concerns. This is consciousness archaeology, the careful excavation of insights, revelations, and transformations occurring in the deeper strata of your being. Begin each morning with reflection upon the journey your consciousness has traveled during the night hours. What dreams carried you through landscapes of symbol and meaning? What emotional tones colored your sleep experience? What insights or resolutions emerge from the mysterious laboratories of REM consciousness? Record these observations without interpretation or analysis, simply witnessing and documenting the raw material of your nocturnal transformation. The dreams themselves serve as direct communications from your subconscious mind, offering symbolic representations of internal changes, emotional processing, and creative solutions to conscious challenges. Learn to read these nightly messages not through dream dictionaries or universal interpretations, but through intimate familiarity with your psyche's unique symbolic vocabulary. Notice recurring themes, characters, or situations in your dreams, as these often represent psychological patterns undergoing transformation or integration. A dream of flying might symbolize growing freedom from limitation, while dreams of teaching others could reflect your own internal mastery being integrated. Dreams of childhood often indicate healing work occurring in foundational psychological structures, while futuristic dreams may represent previews of emerging potentials. Track the emotional quality of your dreams as well as their content, noting shifts from anxiety-driven scenarios to more peaceful, empowering, or creative experiences. These emotional changes in your dream life often precede similar shifts in waking consciousness, making dream emotions valuable, early indicators of transformation progress. The practice of morning reflection extends beyond dream analysis to encompass the subtle qualities of consciousness with which you greet each new day. Notice the first thoughts that arise as awareness emerges from sleep. Do they carry the old familiar weight of worry and limitation, or do they reflect the new programming of possibility and confidence? This transition from sleep to waking consciousness offers a pure reading of your default mental patterns before external demands begin shaping your mental activity. Observe the quality of energy with which you meet the morning challenges and opportunities. Has your fundamental relationship with difficulty shifted from resistance to curiosity? Do you approach problems with the heavy energy of burden or the light energy of creative engagement? These subtle energetic shifts reveal profound changes in your core beliefs about yourself and your capabilities. Evening reflection creates the bookends of conscious self-observation, offering opportunities to witness how your transformed consciousness navigates the complex challenges and opportunities of daily life. Review the day's experiences not from the perspective of judgment or self-improvement, but from the stance of loving awareness, interested in understanding the mechanisms of transformation. Notice moments when your responses to challenging situations felt different from previous patterns. Perhaps you spoke up in a meeting with unexpected confidence, set boundaries with surprising clarity, or approached a problem with creative optimism rather than familiar anxiety. These spontaneous expressions of your new programming provide concrete evidence that deep change is manifesting through your behavior. Pay attention to synchronicities and meaningful coincidences that seem to appear more frequently as your internal transformation deepens. When your subconscious programming aligns with expanded possibilities, your awareness becomes more sensitive to opportunities and connections that were always present but previously invisible to your limiting beliefs. Observe changes in how others respond to you, as external relationships often mirror internal transformations. People may treat you with greater respect, seek your opinions more frequently, or simply seem more drawn to your presence as you embody the confident energy of your transformed consciousness. The practice of emotional archaeology reveals how your relationship with difficult feelings has evolved through your transformation work. Notice whether anger now carries information rather than reactivity, whether sadness opens your heart rather than closing it, whether fear becomes a signal for growth rather than a reason for retreat. These shifts in emotional response patterns demonstrate the deep reprogramming occurring in your limbic system. Document insights and realizations that emerge spontaneously throughout your daily experience, as these often represent breakthrough moments when conscious understanding aligns with unconscious wisdom. Keep a small notebook or use your phone to capture these moments of clarity before they slip back into the unconscious realm from which they emerge. Create rituals around your reflection practice that honor its sacred nature, perhaps lighting a candle, sitting in a special place, or beginning with gratitude for the privilege of witnessing your own transformation. These ritual elements signal to your psyche that this time is set apart, worthy of your deepest attention and reverence. The mirror of self-observation becomes clearer and more revealing as you develop consistency in these practices. Over time, you begin to see patterns and progressions that were invisible from the perspective of daily experience, recognizing the profound intelligence guiding your transformation from within. Regular self-reflection also reveals the areas where integration is still needed, where old patterns persist despite your programming efforts, or where new challenges require additional attention. This information becomes invaluable for refining your evening practices and directing your transformation work toward areas of greatest need or potential. The practice of witnessing your transformation without attachment to particular outcomes allows change to unfold organically rather than forcing it through willful effort. This paradox of engaged detachment, caring deeply about your growth while releasing control over its precise timing and manifestation, creates optimal conditions for transformation to accelerate naturally. As you develop mastery in the art of loving self-observation, you begin to recognize that consciousness itself is the ultimate teacher, constantly offering lessons through every experience, every emotion, every dream, and every moment of awakened awareness. The mirror of the mind reflects not just personal transformation, but the very mechanisms through which consciousness evolves and awakens to its own infinite nature. In this sacred practice of self-witnessing, you become both student and teacher, observer and observed, discovering that the journey of transformation is ultimately a coming home to the awareness that was never actually lost, but simply awaiting recognition through the gentle mirror of conscious reflection. Like a stone cast into still waters, the transformation of your consciousness sends ripples cascading outward through every dimension of your existence, creating waves of change that extend far beyond the intimate boundaries of your inner experience. The neural pathways you've rewired during countless nights of deliberate programming now express themselves through your career, relationships, health, and creative expression in ways that often surprise even you with their scope and profound impact. Sarah discovered this ripple effect first in her voice, literally. As a marketing executive who had spent years struggling with imposter syndrome, she had always spoken in meetings with a slight upward inflection that unconsciously sought permission and approval. After 6 months of sleep-based confidence programming, colleagues began commenting on her newfound authority and presence. She hadn't consciously changed her speaking style. Her voice had simply begun reflecting the the deep certainty that now characterized her inner landscape. Within a year, she was promoted to a director position that had previously seemed impossibly out of reach. The workplace becomes one of the most visible laboratories for observing the real-world impact of inner transformation, where once you might have hesitated to share innovative ideas, fearing rejection or ridicule, you now contribute with the natural confidence of someone who belongs at the decision-making table. Your enhanced self-worth creates what psychologists call presence, a quality of grounded authenticity that others instinctively recognize and respect. Michael, a software engineer, experienced this shift in his approach to technical challenges. Previously, complex problems would trigger anxiety and self-doubt, leading him to over-research and procrastinate rather than trust his capabilities. His nightly programming focused on themes of competence and creative problem-solving. Gradually, he noticed himself diving into challenges with curiosity rather than fear, proposing elegant solutions with confidence, and naturally emerging as a technical leader within his team. His salary increased by 60% within 18 months, not through aggressive negotiation, but through the natural recognition of value he had learned to embody. Professional relationships transform as your energy shifts from the contracted frequency of limitation to the expansive resonance of possibility. Colleagues sense this change before you do, responding with increased collaboration, respect, and inclusion in important projects and decisions. You attract mentors and opportunities that were always present, but previously invisible to your limiting beliefs about your worth and potential. The ripples extend powerfully into your personal relationships as the confidence and self-love you've cultivated internally begins expressing itself through healthier boundaries, clearer communication, and more authentic connection. Lisa found that her marriage deepened significantly after months of sleep programming focused on self-worth and emotional intelligence. As her own sense of value solidified, she stopped seeking validation through people-pleasing and began expressing her authentic needs and preferences. This shift initially created some tension as old relationship dynamics were challenged, but ultimately led to a more honest and intimate partnership based on mutual respect rather than codependency. Family relationships often undergo profound healing as you release the need to prove your worth through achievement or compliance with others' expectations. The quiet confidence that emerges from deep neural reprogramming allows you to love family members without requiring their approval or understanding. You can set boundaries without guilt, express love without expectation, and maintain your center, regardless of family dynamics that once triggered reactive patterns. Friendships naturally evolve as your elevated consciousness attracts relationships based on growth, authenticity, and mutual inspiration rather than shared complaints or commiseration over life's limitations. You find yourself less interested in conversations focused on problems and more drawn to discussions about possibilities, dreams, and creative solutions. Some friendships may fade as vibrational differences become apparent, while new connections emerge with people who match your expanding awareness and aspirations. The realm of physical health often shows dramatic improvements as stress patterns dissolve and self-care becomes a natural expression of your enhanced self-worth. David, a business owner who had struggled with chronic fatigue and digestive issues for years, found his health improving dramatically after implementing sleep programming focused on self-love and stress release. As his unconscious anxiety patterns dissolved, his nervous system shifted from chronic fight-or-flight activation to parasympathetic healing mode. His digestive issues resolved naturally, his energy levels soared, and he began naturally gravitating toward foods and activities that supported rather than depleted his vitality. Sleep quality itself improves as internal conflicts between aspirations and beliefs resolve through systematic reprogramming. When your subconscious mind no longer carries the burden of maintaining contradictory beliefs. Sleep becomes purely restorative rather than a battleground where limiting patterns reassert themselves through anxiety dreams and restless nights. Creative expression often undergoes remarkable expansion as the fear-based patterns that once censored your authentic voice dissolve through consistent positive programming. Artists report breakthrough periods where ideas flow with unprecedented ease and originality. Writers discover their authentic voice emerging with clarity and power. Musicians find themselves composing with confidence and creative courage they hadn't experienced since childhood. The relationship with money and abundance transforms dramatically as deep programming around worthiness and scarcity shifts toward patterns of deserving and flow. This isn't magical thinking, but practical psychology. When you genuinely believe you deserve abundance, you notice opportunities, take appropriate risks, and make decisions that naturally lead to financial improvement. You negotiate from strength rather than desperation, invest in yourself without guilt, and attract financial opportunities that align with your elevated sense of value. Career transitions often become not just possible, but inevitable as your transformed consciousness outgrows previous limitations and seeks expression through work that matches your expanded capabilities and self-image. The job that once felt like a permanent prison begins feeling like a temporary assignment as new possibilities become visible and achievable through your elevated confidence and skills. Leadership abilities emerge naturally as others sense the grounded confidence and authentic presence that characterize transformed consciousness. You find yourself naturally being asked for advice, included in important decisions, and recognized as someone whose opinions carry weight and wisdom. This leadership develops organically from inner authority rather than external positioning or aggressive self-promotion. The ripple effects often extend to unexpected areas as your elevated consciousness touches every aspect of your life experience. Energy levels increase as internal conflicts resolve and life force flows more freely through aligned beliefs and behaviors. Decision-making becomes clearer and more confident as inner wisdom aligns with conscious goals. Time seems to expand as you operate from presence rather than anxiety, making each moment more productive and fulfilling. Perhaps most remarkably, these changes often happen gradually and naturally, feeling less like dramatic transformation and more like simply becoming who you were always meant to be. The struggle and effort that once characterized personal development dissolve into effortless being as your reprogrammed consciousness begins expressing its true nature through every dimension of your existence. The stone of transformation, once cast into the still waters of your sleeping consciousness, continues sending ripples outward through every aspect of your life, creating changes that compound and accelerate over time. These ripples eventually become waves of influence that extend beyond your personal experience, touching the lives of everyone who encounters your transformed presence and inspired example. As the final rays of evening light surrender to darkness and you prepare once again for the sacred journey into sleep's transformative embrace, you stand at a threshold far different from where you began this adventure. The person who first opened these pages, seeking understanding of sleep's hidden potential, no longer exists. In their place stands someone whose consciousness has been fundamentally rewired, whose relationship with possibility has been revolutionized, and whose very presence carries the quiet authority of someone who has learned to dance consciously with the mysteries of the unconscious mind. This moment of completion is simultaneously a moment of infinite beginning, for you now understand that transformation is not a destination to reach, but a continuous process of awakening, an eternal spiral of growth that deepens with each conscious breath and expands with each deliberate dream. You have not graduated from the University of Consciousness, but rather discovered that you are both eternal student and teacher in a curriculum that has no end, because consciousness itself is infinite in its capacity for evolution and expansion. The workshop of your sleeping mind, which once hummed with activity beyond your awareness or influence, has become a conscious collaborator in your ongoing creation of reality. You now approach each evening not with the passive surrender of someone seeking mere rest, but with the intentional presence of an artist approaching their most important canvas, a scientist entering their most sophisticated laboratory, a spiritual seeker preparing for communion with the divine intelligence that flows through all existence. The neural pathways you have carved through months and years of dedicated practice now serve as superhighways of consciousness, carrying thoughts, emotions, and perceptions toward outcomes that align with your highest potential. What once required enormous effort and constant vigilance, positive thinking, confident behavior, optimistic expectations, now flows as naturally as breathing, because these patterns have become your psychological default, encoded in the very architecture of your transformed nervous system. Yet this mastery brings with it a profound humility, for you have glimpsed the vastness of consciousness and recognized that your transformation, remarkable as it may be, represents only the first steps in an infinite journey of awakening. The more you understand about the mind's potential, the more you realize there is to discover. The more skillful you become in directing your subconscious programming, the more you appreciate the mysterious intelligence that operates beyond the reach of conscious intention. Your sleep has become a nightly pilgrimage to the sacred temples of transformation, where the boundaries between possible and impossible dissolve in the holy darkness of theta and delta consciousness. Each dream now carries the potential for revelation. Each period of deep sleep offers opportunities for healing and integration. Each moment of transition between sleep stages becomes a gateway for conscious evolution. The ripples of your transformation continue expanding outward through every dimension of your existence, creating changes that compound and accelerate with each passing day. Your relationships deepen as authentic confidence replaces the mass of insecurity. Your work becomes an expression of purpose rather than mere obligation. Your creativity flows from sources that seem inexhaustible because they connect to the infinite wellspring of consciousness itself.